Oh my God, it feels so weird to put headphones on again. It's been a little while since we ripped the cast. See, the problem with where I live is I live right next to a bar. And because I live right next to a bar, you get all the college kids, especially during breaks and whatnot, and you get all these people that congregate around that area. And you know how bars are. It's not just they're inside and then outside in the front. They hover around. There was, what was it? It was, what holiday was it? Oh, it was Thanksgiving Eve.
Okay.
Thanksgiving Eve, I'm chilling. I'm fucking playing Xbox. I'm hanging out. It's like 11 o'clock at night, which is pretty late for me. And then I said, you know what? I got to go to bed. I got to go get on with my day tomorrow and shit like that. But it was so loud outside. I usually put a noisemaker on. I get to like enjoy the peace and quiet. He enjoys it too. My mom gets him like the Zen mode. Every time she comes over and then she leaves, if she leaves my apartment, all I have on is like the dog music YouTube channel. So it's like a bunch of just fucking dogs sleeping on the TV, and the dog comes over to me. He's like drunk. I go, what the hell's wrong with you? Would you take 4 shots? Oh no, you just been listening to Zen music for the last 6 hours. Yeah. It's very good. It's very peaceful. I've fallen asleep to it a couple of times now. But during Thanksgiving Eve, I go to sleep, and then you hear the people around your house.
Yeah.
So you hear the people kind of walking through here and there, and you're just like, whatever. But then there were dudes that were pissing on the bamboo trees that I have in the back of the house. It's more so my neighbor's tree. It's not mine, but it's close. Like right outside my window. I was going to be like, yo, put that small thing away. But there's like a balance where you can talk shit and tell people to get the fuck out of here before it gets like angry and they get nasty with you. Mm-hmm. And then I get irritated. Like, why are you getting nasty with me? You woke me up. And then like, you've been taking shots at Cuervo since 7 o'clock at night. Who's a loser? Like you start like playing tit for tat. It's just not even worth it. So it comes with its own interesting trials when you live next to lively areas like this. I never did. You know, college, when I went away to college, it was remote. I mean, the bars were...
Where'd you go?
I went to Quinnipiac.
Oh.
So the bars were just in a totally different area. We used to get bused down to New Haven. So there were maybe a bar or two in the area of Hamden, Connecticut, but generally there was nothing fun going on. Mm. So you'd hear the drunks come home. And actually, funny story. I'll riff with this funny story. So I was in prep when I was away at college.
Oh, God.
I was in prep. And it was my second year. And I just...
Where's timing, man? Where's timing to do affordability, too?
You know what, man? I think it actually was the perfect timing. When you look back on it, it's not that I have regrets, but I wish I kind of let loose a little bit here and there. I was so regimented and so structured, but that's why I think it was the best, because as opposed to derailing myself and getting in the worst shape of my life like a lot of college students that aren't athletes, that can't hold themselves accountable in that area nutritionally and physically, I was forced mentally because I had a show to do and I wanted to win and I wanted to prove myself. So because of those monumental tasks that I had to achieve and get, I was structured. I wake up, do my cardio every single morning, go to the gym, hit something light, come back, eat my first meal, like go to my classes, get my water in, go train at night.
Solid routine.
Right back to it. So it was really something that kept me in line versus allowing myself to just, oh yeah, we got this party, we got that party. I was actually at like a friend of one of the frat houses. I actually would stand at the door and take money to let people in, and I had a meal. Like I wasn't drinking at all. I had a meal in my hand of ground beef, chicken, whatever I was eating. I just had a meal, and I'd just be sitting there like, yeah, you're good. It's just the biggest dumb meathead ever, but that was my life. So I do believe that helped me a lot. But the adverse side of it, which is negative, is you get the drunks that come home. Now, I was a crab. If my roommates listen to this, I'm sorry, guys. I was a crab. Listen.
Wait. What do you mean by crab?
I was just angry. I was just
crab.
Yeah, no, not crustacean, Okay. No, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to like a little hermit, like you're just stuck in your room.
No. I socialized. Hold on 1 second.
You're good.
Oh, a little coffee crack, and my man's enjoying a nice rainstorm. Cheers for you coming down.
Man. Cheers.
All love, brother.
All love.
Oh man, I love a nitro cold brew. Anyway, so if the dishes weren't done, because I had to cook my eggs in the morning. If they came home too late and they were loud and obnoxious, I had a problem with that. I have to get up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. to do my cardio.
Mm-hmm.
We all live in the same home. Like one of my, I'm not gonna say the name, but one of my roommates, he'd bring girls back, and if they wouldn't hook up with him, you'd hear him just like flip out and just be like, "All right, get the fuck out then!" Like it's like, bro.
Oh my god.
We would be dying laughing. We're like, all right, well, guess he's not getting any tonight. So I was so regimented, so on task that I had to get my sleep. A lot of times, if my roommates were hooking up with girls, they would go to their rooms because they didn't want to bring them back to mine because they're probably like, "Yo, the fucking gremlin at the house, he's gonna flip out if we're too loud." So anyway, there was a guy who he must have been 2 or 3 floors underneath us, and we lived in a pretty big high-rise building at Quinnipiac. I think it was like 5 or 6 floors. And every time the drunks would come home from the bus, he would scream out the window with a megaphone. Loud. Yo, Tim, Lumi. Loud. Very loud. Obnoxious. He'd play music through that thing.
Oh, nah.
No, dude. It's like 3 in the morning, bro.
Oh, no.
No, we're not doing this. So I go home for Christmas break, and for Christmas, my mom gets me a megaphone so I could yell back. Like, thanks, Mom. Oh, you're a real one. I appreciate you.
Mom really looking out to you.
Oh, Mama Rizzle's hooking it up. So the first night we're back for the weekend, Megaphone Man starts to scream out the window again.
Uh-oh.
And we probably had a verbal battle for...
Oh, God, this had to have been for hours.
Nah, you know what? It was a solid like 20 minutes of just going back and forth. And then he just stopped. And he never did it again. That was it. It was like the craziest fall off. He might have just fucking died in New Haven. But he might have just fucking died in New Haven. I have no idea. But never spoke out of that window with the megaphone ever again. And that's my story of college.
Oof.
Tim, welcome to the podcast. As I'm sweating my ass off again in my studio. For those that are watching, I'm actually going to take my hoodie off, my Cameron Haynes Keep Hammering shirt, and my Cameron Haynes hat, which I look like the biggest fanboy ever, and my
with good reason, man.
Cameron Haynes shirt.
Got the fucking shirt.
Yeah, that's right. Dude,
that's great.
Bro, I'm sweating my ass off. It is so hot.
You're very glossy right now.
Oh, it's so hot in here. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. They do the AC and the heating for the whole unit, and then it gets cold for one day, so they go, oh shit, we should turn it up. And they turn it up to 900, and then all of a sudden, we're back to 50-degree days again.
And you got the sun glaring at you the whole morning and afternoon.
Southern-facing windows. We talked about this when you first got here. Not a fan of southern-facing windows. But anyway, Tim, welcome to the show.
It's an honor.
I appreciate you, dude. We've been in contact through Instagram for a long time, just going back and forth, this and that, and I'm glad that we could link up. We have a lot of acquaintances that we know through Amanda, Tom. We have a lot of
shout out, guys.
Yeah, shout out to the homies and the people.
Yes, especially shout out to Amanda. She, her giving me the shot to also train at her gym too, and then to really work on my craft and basically kind of perfect my one-on-one and also be able to expand my brand in general.
Yeah.
She's been an incredible mentor as well, because in the future I do plan to open up my own facility. It's going to be some years down the road because of the big, the biggest picture around it, basically becoming a full-on mind, body, and soul place where people can train. Being the first level of an actual gym, second level being a place where people can go to therapy, or they can actually do a little bit more meditation, red light room, all that stuff. And then the third level be anytime anyone wants to do that type of spiritual healing, because it's also mind, body, and soul. So, and then eventually get the profits and starts giving out scholarships towards, my community, because Brentwood I come from Brentwood. Brentwood they gave a lot to myself and my family growing up, and they were there for me throughout a lot of situations that life had brought. We had a house fire back in 2013. It started when I was sleeping, and they donated money to my family to help get us back on our feet for a little bit, which was an incredible gesture from them, because from the years of me just promoting anti-bullying from when I was in my middle school, they donated an additional $1,500 to my family as well. So it's just like the whole, I want to say, the community itself is very wholesome, and it's a very one family once you come very close with them. And all I just want to do is really get give back in a way of not only having people be able to train their mind, body, and soul, but also then eventually start, handling some problems for some families that can't financially afford to send their kids off to college, or the kids may not be the best in school, so they're not going to get that scholarship. So I'm looking out for students who are, necessarily like I was growing up, just struggling.
Yeah.
With middle class family in an area that not necessarily is the most affordable for you to be living here on Long Island. So my family did exactly what they had to do for us growing up. So again, it's everything I want to do for my family and from a community at the same time, and both learning from Tom and Amanda on them being amazing gym owners and them promoting their brand and being successful at it. I couldn't be more thankful to have such mentors like that, because they're individuals who are literally doing exactly what I want to do and are around my age group as well.
Yeah.
And that's who I'm trying to surround myself around, because, growing up, that's not what I really was around. Growing up, I was around a lot of individuals and a lot of things of what not to do, of what not to be and what not to become. And never really had like the exact role model of what I'm looking to do for my life. And just so happened to be that fitness helped me down this route. Once I especially got out of the military back in 2018, and I was honorably discharged after doing 3 years with the U.S. Army National Guard, Military Police Corps. Shout out to the 442 and shout out to Bravo 795. The 442 MPs also, there's some good people still there that are leading. But once I got out, I was at my heaviest. I was weighing 289. I had a really bad drinking problem, really bad drinking problem, and I almost had lost my battle to mental health and to my depression on June 26, 2018. So the day after that is when I really decided to get my shit together, because I looked in the mirror. I was tired of what I was looking at. I was tired of what I was feeling. I was exhausted from just living the life I was living, the lifestyle I was living in itself, between eating like shit and drinking like shit and not even doing any type of work positively towards my life. You finally just wake up and then you say, all right, I'm done with this shit.
Yeah.
So the whole transition into then falling in love with the gym wasn't too hard for me in general. It was actually an easier way because of addiction. Because alcohol addiction I had already run in my family. I seen that growing up. And also shout out to my folks being 9 years sober now. 9 years sober.
Shouts, man.
Shout out to them.
I haven't had anything since March. It feels great.
I
was never an abuser of any type of substances, which I'm very happy that I guess I never just fell into the loophole of that. I could go out, have a couple drinks here and there, and that was it. I never really wanted to just get hammered and shit like that. So when I hear about people that had addictions, when I hear about people that had alcohol and drug abuse problems and this and that, I feel for you, because I never experienced that. I never know I don't understand how hard that is to kick, because it is excessively hard for people to actually get that out of their life. So for me, I just decided that it wasn't serving me. I want to be at the top for my.
Ain't it great a feeling though? Ain't it a great feeling when you just wake up the next day and you don't feel like you want to hate your life?
I just feel good, man. I just feel good. And I don't think I ever used it as like an escape from life. Like there's a lot of people that do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was guilty of it.
Yeah, and listen, it's okay. You have to be real with yourself, which you are. Yeah. You have to be real with yourself. You have to understand that, once you come down from that high, or once you come down from that, euphoric feeling of alcohol, whatever reason that you're drinking, the buzz, whatever it might be, all your fucking problems are still there. Your weight is still there. Your life is still there. And the escape pod technique of using these substances to just escape, it's almost like there's a malfunction and it brings you back to the home base, right? Mm-hmm. Right. After 6 hours in the trip. So it's a tough thing for a lot of people. And that's one thing that I get very irritated by with our government, with just the world, that there is not only coddling, but there's it's okay. Like you have a problem.
Well, that's the reason why these soldiers are also killing themselves at the same time.
Dude, veteran stuff, and we're going to talk about that. Veteran stuff is very touchy for me. I can't stand that shit. Like not veterans, obviously. I can't stand the way that they're treated. The hey, thanks for your service, and then like the boot in your back, just kicking you back into America. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do now? I just put my life on the line. I just did this. I just did X, Y, Z. So. Back on the topic of substances before we get into veteran stuff, because I really want to touch on that. It's we just get roped into it as a society. We get roped into it as a society. You're shown alcohol on every fucking ad. You're shown alcohol as a young boy, girl, whatever. Like you're showing
Movies,
it in
music,
movies,
TV.
every single family gathering, weekends. Oh, mom just poured a vat of fucking wine in her glass, and dad's having a half a bottle of scotch just because it's Friday night and they have to unwind. I don't know. Go do some fucking cardio. Go do something that actually benefits yourself, as opposed to just like not only packing on more weight over time, but slowly and surely killing your brain, your organs, everything. I mean, just drinking, I think it was the study was from Dr. Amen, that's 3 drinks a week or something like that. Dude, 3 drinks. We know people that put away probably 10 a night, on a Friday night.
So I was pounding down anywhere between 12 to 15 in a single night.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. So it's like just 3 a week significantly decreases the gray matter in your brain. That is fucking crazy. You are literally poisoning yourself.
Wow.
Dude, like when you think about that, is, you know, I have this debate with a lot of the fitness people. This is going to kind of, now you understand why when you listen, we go all over the place.
So that's the art of podcasting. Art of conversation.
Yeah. I have this debate with a lot of the fitness guys. I have a lot of guys that are super hell-bent on competing and getting their pro card. Okay, we get it, bro. Like, we get it. It's cool. And guess what? You can get it. It's attainable, especially now more than ever because it's a fucking business. And they're not just giving out a pro card a year like they basically used to. Now, it's a fucking business for them, and they want to get as many people on that pro stage as they can. Because guess what? That's a $300 to $400 a year renewal. It's okay, bro.
Yeah, just want to make sure.
Yeah, you're good, bro. It's a $300 to $400. Sometimes fucking Kenji just sit up and howl. It's okay. It's a $300 to $400 a year renewal just to have that card, whether you compete or not. And if you don't, then you got to requalify. Oh my God, I guess I should just keep paying for my pro card.
Wait, you got to pay for your pro card?
Yeah, bro, you got to pay for it every year. There's a renewal fee every single year. Or maybe they changed it, but from what I remember, it was an annual fee that you had to pay to keep your pro status. So it's like, I'm an IFBB. I'm an IFBB pro. It's like, for how long? The last 50 years? How many times did you compete? 3 times. Oh, okay. So you've just been paying however much money every year just to say that you're an IFBB pro? I don't know. I used to have such a love for that sport, and I've really fallen out of love with it because of the people in it, the tricks of the trade, the photoshopping, the this, the that. And you know what? Thankfully, I can pat myself on the back. I've never been guilty of photoshopping my photos to make someone look bigger, smaller, whatever, like make them look more grainy at every show. It's like, bro, these people look amazing on stage.
It's still hard work. It's still
without question.
Hard work.
Even if they take a massive amounts of steroids, it is still a lot of hard work. And I would argue that a majority of the regular population of the world, not just the United States, can't do that. With all the gear that they take, with all of the vitamins, with all the regimented workouts, with all of the, that's what I'm saying. It is so difficult. So I can't take that away from anybody. I really can't. And I don't. But my issue with the sport is there's the guys that will sit there and be like, I'd rather live 40 years as a lion than 80 as a sheep. It's like, bro, and then when you have fucking kidney failure, you're sitting there complaining and saying, oh no, the steroids did this and blah, 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 blah. It's like, bro, just like, you knew what you were doing. So like the same thing has to be held accountable with people that drink massive amounts, that do drugs. It's like the people that we have to revive with Narcan. I feel bad because maybe they didn't know that it was cut with XYZ, but guess what, man? You're still doing an illegal drug, or you purchased it from this place or this and that. There's outliers. There's arguments in both areas that say, oh, maybe he bought it legally. Maybe it was legal weed and it just happened to be cut that way. Okay, still a drug. It's still a drug, and you're still using it to escape the world, do whatever you want to do with it, whatever it might be. Maybe it's for anxiety. Well, guess what? The studies show that it actually makes you more anxious over time, the use of marijuana. So my cousin, she uses pot all the time. She smokes a lot. Whatever. Okay, cool. But she's always anxious. I don't know, cut the pot out. These seem like simple tactics just to maybe trial and error, like when you're giving a client a diet, right? And the client's like, oh, well, I don't know if these foods are working. Okay, well, we're going to do an elimination diet. We're going to take this food out. We're going to take this food out. And how do you feel after like 4 or 5 days of doing that? I feel better. There you go. Those foods might not work for you. If you're smoking a ton of pot and you're still fucking anxious.
Or you're feeling very depressed also, if you're keeping yourself down. Like, I was guilty of using it for so long. And it wasn't until, like, I want to say really around September, October, that was like I needed to have my own little awakening as well.
When was that? This past one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because once I got out of the military, it
So
was.
you stopped. So you've been sober from drinking for 9 years or 9 years?
No, I've been sober from drinking since my parents have been sober from drinking for 9 years.
Oh, your parents. Okay.
Yeah, I've been sober from drinking fully since July 4th, 2022.
Okay, cool. That's awesome, bro.
No alcohol, no
great.
nothing, and then I just stayed California sober for the most part because it was a way I was also. When I went on antidepressants and I went on anti-anxieties and all these other, pharmaceutical medications, all it just did was just enhance every.
That's what I was going to ask you. How did it make you feel? It made it worse, I assume.
Yeah, those pharmaceuticals. I even got blood work done, and the majority of because they now have this blood test that you can take that you're able to basically figure out exactly like what medications are good for you. For as far as like what can you have and what can you not have as far as your blood type and all this other stuff with it, and majority of the medication I was not responsive to. I would not be able to I wouldn't have the best reaction to in general whatsoever. So when being told that, it was like, okay, well that makes sense now, and then getting a little bit more comfortable with not only just smoking weed, but then also CBD, and then as well as getting a little more affiliated with companies like Canabolics, where I was actually able to get a little bit more quality information on the proper uses of it, which even I fell in love. I fell fully into it because it was something that it was like, oh, I kept convincing myself this is the most natural way that I can really relieve of everything. But the blunt truth was when I fully stopped, smoking for a little while, because I also caught pneumonia. So I couldn't even smoke if I wanted to. So it was like, okay, well, let's see how these next 2 weeks play out. Okay, let's see how this next month plays out. Let's see how, going through Christmas. Let's see how going through the New Year's. Because every single New Year's, I always had, a blunt in my hand, basically, with the family. And it felt incredible and still feels incredible to actually, I want to say, put a lot more focus now into just living my quality life and really taking therapy a little bit more serious, and as well as finding my other routes of dealing with not only the depression but the anxieties as well. And the biggest thing that it came from, completely just transforming my whole vision on everything else about myself when it comes down to pulling myself away from weed was really being able to now fully commit into my trainer life. And I'm the first one out of my house at 4:30 in the morning, and I don't get back home usually until about 8, 9 o'clock at night now. And I'm spending all day between two gyms, basically between Unique Fitness in Holbrook and Apex Fitness in Farmingville.
Shout out Apex Fitness.
Shout out, guys. Shout out all you good people who have really helped me out and develop my training career. Because when I first started this thing 7 years ago, it was nowhere near what I was, doing now. $75 to $50 every 2 weeks for a year. That was my paycheck as a trainer when I first started this.
This was where?
Retro Fitness down in Bayshore, but it wasn't through Retro Fitness. It wasn't exactly Retro Fitness. It was through a freelance company that they brought in, and I would stay there anywhere between, looking like how I do now, between 10 to 15 hours in a day, and then it came to a point where then I had to work overnight because it was, how do I continue to make a living for myself? Well, I could still train in the daytime, but it's going to require me to now basically sacrifice the thing called sleep, which is something I don't recommend doing, because once I finally got my sleep right and I got my sleep routine in, I've started to see max results, not only just physically, but mentally as well. But having to work overnight then for Planet Fitness, so I'd work from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., and then I would train clients from 6 a.m. till about 10 o'clock, and then I would sleep from 11 to 3, and then I'm up, I eat, and I went right back into my gym and trained or attempted to talk to people from 5 o'clock all the way until, about 9:30, and then I put my Planet Fitness gear on, and I'm out the door, and then I work the overnight. That was my life for about 2 years, and then COVID happened, and obviously the gyms and all that shut down. But even when the
liquor store stayed open. That's interesting.
Yeah.
The liquor store stayed open.
Yep,
and the heroin injection sites where you can have your heroin usage monitored in the city
open
in case you overdose in front of one of the nurses. They can revive you right there and then. But those stayed open.
That whole time frame in general, I still forget some days of just like how much of we literally lost a whole year of our life.
We lost more than a whole year. We lost 2 to 3. We lost 2 to 3 years of our lives.
So it doesn't feel like it's like 2024.
It doesn't feel like that. Ever since COVID happened, the world feels different. And I talk to a lot of people about this, and it feels different on a lot of different ways and scales and whatever. I believe that there was a grand scale awakening of a mass populace of people.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there's a lot of people that saw what the government will actually go to the lengths of doing to not only suppress people from talking, and this goes for COVID and the elections. This goes for everything. I don't care what side you're on. It doesn't matter. They do it for everybody. And it's fucked up because at the end of the day, they're going to make sure that their candidate and their hands are going to continue getting greased, and they're going to keep getting all the money in the world. But it taught us a lot about what actually goes on in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And having that idle time to sit home, be actually bored as a civilization, and look around and actually analyze things. There's a lot of people that never woke up. They actually went to sleep further, in my opinion. But there's
the ones that are still wearing masks right now.
Yeah, bro, the ones that are still wearing masks in their fucking car. Yep. Yeah, I used to not want to talk about this shit, but let's be very clear. If you are still wearing your mask in your car, you need to go to therapy. Like, really, you need to go to therapy
because it's
you have to get out. You have to live your life. Like, it's not that serious. It really isn't. It really is not that serious. You know, you want to talk about numbers and you want to talk about, oh, well, COVID killed X amount of people, this and that, blah, blah. You know, oh, it was targeting the African-American community even more. Oh, yeah, the virus was intentionally targeting African-American communities. Come on, bro. Like, what the fuck are we talking about as a people?
Mm-hmm.
Stop constantly using the tint of melanin in people's skins to make excuses for things, to do this and that. Yo, we have to be all unified. It doesn't matter what fucking color you are. But guess what? Scientifically, if you want to talk about what actually goes on, is people that have more melanin in their skin, they have less vitamin D saturation. And because you have less vitamin D and lower vitamin D, there was an 80, and then let's talk about the obesity rates. So then you have obesity rates, you have lack of exercise, you have already low vitamin D. Well, stats are stats. You can't get mad at facts. That's what Andre says whenever he comes on the podcast. Can't be mad at facts. Like, it is what it is. You can't be mad at facts. You can sugarcoat it whatever way you want. You could pretend like things don't exist because you want to run a narrative that you want. And the unfortunate truth is that there's a lot of people that just believe shit like that. They won't actually do their own research. Do your own research.
No, everyone's lazy when it comes down to that.
Well, you know that from training, unfortunately. You know that from training people and just from speaking to people about that medically need to lose weight because of their health.
Mm-hmm.
Because they will fucking die. And they're just like, yeah, I can't stop eating this, or I can't stop drinking, or I can't stop doing that. You can't
or you
stop? What do you mean you can't stop? No. You can't stop breathing. You'll die. You can stop eating Big Macs on your lunch break.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to the gym.
You can stop drinking.
You can stop drinking. It's not that big a deal.
You can.
Guess what? Get
a
club soda when you go out. If you want to pretend like you're still drinking, so people don't judge you. Fuck those people if they're judging you. Let's be straight up and
fuck the opinion of people and just in general.
Exactly. Who gives a shit? So it's like you want to play the game of like looking as if you're drinking, so this way you don't feel like you're being judged. Have a club soda. It's not that serious.
Mm-hmm.
You're a fucking adult. We're gonna get through it. And guess what? The people that are going to be judging you, the people that are making these accusations about you, these wild claims, whatever you want to call them, they're fucking losers, and their opinion doesn't matter to you, and they don't care about you. Because if you die, if you die in a year, they'll write on your post, "Oh, I'm so sorry, it sucks," and then they'll go on about their life. So just because
post shit's too fucking real right now, man.
Dude, but it's just like this is the fucking world we live in. So going back to just COVID and everything like that, there was a grand scale awakening, and there was a large populace of people that woke up and said, I'm not going to allow the government to continue to give me this false advice of what nutrition guidelines are, of what exercise guidelines,
mm-hmm.
because they can't even hold them fucking selves accountable. Okay?
Most politicians are overweight, drinking,
Yep.
and smoking their cigarettes still.
Well, what I find hysterical is like you see the people that are in charge of the health departments and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
They look horrific. So that's like my point that I made with who is it? Sammy Siegel, my boy Sam. When I got lit up for saying that from some people. A lot of people agree with me. I would say 90% of people agree with me. 10% of people disagree with me when I said if you are a doctor, you lose a lot of credibility in my mind if you're going to tell me how to live my life and how to drop weight and what I should and shouldn't be eating, and you're 40 pounds overweight, busting at the seams out that lab coat, son, I don't want to do what you're doing. So no, do not tell me what to do. If I'm obese on the BMI scale, but I have more muscle than the last 20 people that came in through that fucking door, you need to ask me what I'm doing. What are you doing? What are you doing? Because evidently it's working. Your blood results came back great, except your cholesterol is a little high. Oh, gee, I wonder why. Like runs in the family. I eat higher fat. It's gonna happen. But guess what? I don't eat a lot of sugar, so generally that cholesterol isn't gonna clot up in my artery lining, because that actually is one of the main factors that occur on why arteries clog up. I learned this from my coach. He's a functional medicine doctor. Some real doctors will roll their eyes, but guess what? He's caught 99% of the shit that I've been feeling off with than all the other doctors that have real degrees. Let's call it that, real degrees.
Real degrees signing
documents
over to another pharmaceutical company so that they get their bonus.
Just like Kenji's vet has real degrees because they know everything about Kenji, and they push kibble on him when he's sick, as opposed to eating raw, which is going to be better for him. Let's be completely honest. Oh, no, he'll get salmonella. Really? Because he's 4 and he's been fine for 4 years of eating bones and all. You know how many times I got told, oh, he eats a chicken foot, he's going to have a blockage. Anyway, one of the main there's a million ways that it can happen, but one of the main ways that your arteries get clogged up is if you're having a high fat, high sugar diet. Sugar goes through the arteries, and in layman's terms, quick, concise, which is how he explained it to me. Sugar goes through your bloodstream from consuming it. And if you're having high fat as well, the increase in LDL and all the other cholesterol markers increase the cholesterol. What is cholesterol supposed to do? It's supposed to clot, and it's supposed to bunch up. That's why it clots up arteries. Sugar goes through your arteries and your veins and everything like that, and it causes micro cuts and tears through it from the inflammation, from all of the extra bullshit that's in sugar. What is the cholesterol? The increase in high fat cholesterol. What is that going to do? It's going to pass through, and it's going to start clotting in those areas. Listen, that's what he told me years ago. It makes a lot of sense. I've looked it up. You know, so I'm sure there will be some people that say, no, that's not true. It's not true. Okay, whatever you say. Then keep living your life.
As you're down your Coke and eat your
exactly.
salad.
You keep living your life. I'm going to live my life. We'll be okay. I'd rather live 50 years as a lion. Anywho.
Yeah, going back. So one of the things we touched base more about alcohol in general, especially when it comes down to veterans. The biggest thing on base is there's usually a larger alcohol section than there is an actual health food section.
And real quick on there, and I want to get your take on this, which I heard from other people. Why do we have to call foods that are just good for you health food? What does that make regular food?
Yeah, bad food.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah. Food should just be food at the end of the day.
It's insane that we have to label things. That's a health food. What does that mean? So then what's everything else? That's just food. But then food is bad for me? What is that? It's so crazy that they have to have separate sections. Everything should be combined. This is food. It nourishes the body. It fuels you. It keeps you healthy.
Bigger. It shouldn't make you fat. It shouldn't make you break out. It shouldn't make you develop all these other diseases or
it shouldn't wreak havoc on your gut microbiome. It shouldn't wreak havoc on your brain, your organs.
It's
He's stretching out behind you. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Sorry.
Which also,
but you're saying the health food, the quote unquote health food section is smaller than the alcohol section.
Yeah.
And from my people that are in the military, all of them say alcohol is a huge part of the military.
Well, when I say huge, it's hand in hand with also dipping and cigarette smoking and literally everything that's there's more Domino's, Pizza Huts, Church's Chickens, and all these other things on military bases for our men and women in boots. But you're not going to find, not even anywhere close to like a Whole Foods, or you're not going to find someplace where they can get, quality, actual organic food to help, actually fuel your soldiers and get everyone, in best shape and keep themselves in best shape. But they'll bitch and complain when they have soldiers and half the battalion is fat and overweight because all they're doing every single night is going out, getting fucked up, having anywhere between 6 to 10 drinks On top of that, going back home while stopping on base and eating all this Taco Bell and eating all the shit food as well. So they gain a weight a lot faster, and it comes to a point where somebody, even the leadership, is at a point where they can't even look down to barely tie their boots, and they can barely see their own dicks.
So you mean it's not like the Hurt Locker and everyone's just shredded to bone?
If that was, no, it's to the point where it's like it's honestly disturbing, because coming from somebody who I became my heaviest while I was still serving the military.
Isn't that crazy? You should technically be your lightest and most in shape.
Out of basic training, absolutely.
Yeah.
When you're coming fresh out of basic training and your AIT training for the Army, at least, you should be coming out like a twig, because you're getting fed 3 square meals every single day, but you're eating quality food,
yeah,
for the most part. And you're actually getting some real nutrients within your meals. But after that, now it's all up on your own choice. Where you got 1 or 2 choices in the military. You have one, you take steroids and you become a very huge hurt locker. Or you become a overweight alcoholic who just loves cigarette smoking and will take any nap that they can throughout the day, instead of taking the time to either study or to actually bond with your soldiers, or to actually even develop any type of real relationship with your team. Because at the end of the day, you should not feel any type of disconnection from your team, especially if you're leading them. If you're somebody in a leadership position and you're in the military and you are not connected with your squad, that is as someone who is under that, you do not find any type of positive results in the future that come from that. There's a lot of resentment. There's a lot of points of, I really want to just knock this motherfucker out, and would feel no remorse about it. Huh. But come out into the battlefield or go out downrange, you're now having to try and put all the petty bullshit aside that everything happened because of this leadership, and now you have to basically do your orders and do your job no matter what, and this leader will then still cower behind you because now you're stepping up a little bit more. Like, there's a lot of false leadership that's out there right now, and there's a lot of toxic leadership out there, and just because they could run good, just because they can shoot well, just because they know how to do PT, doesn't mean they know how to lead. And there's a lack of leadership in general right now in everything in this country right now. Whoa. There's a major lack of leadership in general. And it's disturbing when you have people who are leading by little dick syndrome, mm-hmm. more than actual leading by example, and leading by, actually sticking by you through your hardships, getting you through your shit, making sure you're always good. Even when you're on your worst days, they're the people that you can depend on no matter what.
They're supposed to motivate you. They're supposed to lift you up. They're supposed to make you excited that you are part of that team.
Still hold you accountable.
Oh, yeah.
Still hold you accountable, but make you feel like you're actually part of your team.
Yeah.
Make you feel like you're part of your relationship. This just goes for everywhere in general. Like, leading by example is the best representation of success. Because you can say you've been through this shit multiple different times, and you're setting the barrier. Like, as trainers in particular, when I see trainers right now, not to completely switch away from the military, but
we'll go back
to that. When I see trainers right now who are just doing these bullshit, extraordinary Instagram workouts for their clients, but yet they have yet to even try it at all whatsoever. They're putting their clients through workouts they've never done. They're giving them advice that they would never follow if they were in their shoes. Like, there's such a, what's the word I'm looking for here? Just a lot of numbnuts who are trying to train these people and live a better life, and it brings such a bad name to the trainer world. It brings bad name to trainers, because people will look at it as like, oh well, I got bad results from this guy, and I got bad results from this one, because they're going off of Instagram, because they're going off of YouTube, because they're going off of what looks trendy, so they can record it and put it onto their Instagram. You look down on my Instagram, all my stuff is very simple. It's very easy. I would say it was very easy. That'd be an understatement with the mace work, especially. But
most people don't even know how to swing a kettlebell properly. It's the craziest thing to me. It's one of the most simple pieces of fitness equipment. Not to derail you from your conversation, but it's the most simple pieces of fitness equipment in the world, and something that is so
versatile. It's very versatile to use.
It's so versatile, and there's so many applications that you can use for just hit work, strength work, conditioning work, just everything. Mm-hmm. And people don't know how to fucking swing it. It's like, no, you're not supposed to use your arms to hike the bell up. Like, you can with certain movements, but you're trying to just do a swing. Don't do a front raise.
Stop using your back.
Yeah, it's all hip hinging. Push through.
Even people just teach people how to hip hinge right now.
Yeah, well, it's very difficult, but that's, that goes back to, I'm not going to say the world as a whole, but that goes back to the lack of education that we have throughout the schooling systems, throughout the like life sectors. These are simple things that we need to be teaching young kids. Physical fitness is fun. You need to be able to do this. You should be doing pull-ups. You should be doing push-ups. You should be doing XYZ. And instead, we're just continually breeding these soft fucking kids nowadays. Mm-hmm. I call them the cocomelon babies. More fucking kids that are just gonna be in the way on the LIE when I'm irritated because they're doing 20 in the fast lane. More of those fucking people. I don't want those people on this planet. I don't. And you can take that as mean or whatever. But you know what? Like, get the fuck out of the way, dude. Like, we got shit to do. So not able to be self-sufficient. It's crazy to me that these are the things that we are not teaching people. It's hard enough for me to understand how the schooling system has stayed without true reform for this long. Because my God, do we need some changes in the schooling system, just as a whole. I mean,
this whole Common Core shit right now. So some of my clients who are teachers, they tell me all this shit.
Fuck all of this stuff. We need to go back and we need to reevaluate everything that we teach children. Not only on history, math, all these useless fucking things that I never had to know past when I graduated. I don't need to know any of this shit. Mm-hmm. I need to know how to balance a checkbook. I need to know the struggles that are going to come with starting a business, whether I'm going to be an entrepreneur or not.
How to do taxes.
How to properly file taxes. How to properly budget.
Difference between a 1099 and a W-2.
How to live life the real way. Not this bullshit indoctrination of just go get a job. Yeah, go to the rat race, get a job, sit in your car, go to your job, sit there all day for fucking 9 hours, drive back home, eat shitty food, drink alcohol, smoke weed, go to bed, do it again. And then on the weekends, you rage because you've just been so contained with the monotonous bullshit schedule that you've had all week. I don't want to learn about that. I don't want my kids one day to learn about that. And there has to be real conversations had throughout the entire country on what we're teaching these kids.
Mm-hmm. And also and teach them all the same way. This place in America
across the fucking board. It doesn't matter about budgets. We should be teaching kids the same exact way across the board. And I'm sure that there are reasons that we don't to some extent, but it's a bullshit excuse. It's very simple. We have to get on collectively as Americans.
We are the United States for a reason.
We're not, though. We're not. It's fake. We are not the freest country in the world. We are not the best country in the world. It hasn't been that way for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? I lean more right because of policies and whatnot and what I see on the news and what I see. And when I say the news, I mean all sources. When I watch everything. I don't want just Fox. I don't want just CNN. I want independent. I want to actually know the story. I listen to a lot of vets. I listen to Tim Kennedy. I listen to a lot of these guys who's been flagged for misinformation and all kinds of shit.
We were talking about that the other day.
Mike Glover. I love Mike Glover. I want to go to some of his training seminars out in Utah. If you want to come, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Bro, Mike Glover's a gangster. Guess what? Because he said that we need to form tribes of men and like-minded people in our communities and really be able to count on each other, he was deemed a domestic terrorist. I don't trust our government at all. I don't trust our government. They have not had our best interest involved. And guess what? Whether Trump gets in or anybody, whoever you want to vote for, guess what? Maybe the prices come down on certain things. Maybe it gets better. But this is a lifelong issue that we've had in this country that we need to rectify as a community.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with us. Unfortunately, we've allowed government to get out of whack. It's like leading by example, right? They're not leading by example.
Mm-hmm.
They're not.
No, they're taking far from it.
Dude, they're taking our money. They're doing whatever the fuck they want because then they just threaten us with jail, fines up the ass. And guess what? Most people can't afford any of that shit right now. So we have to. What Andy Frisella says, I've said this on a couple of podcasts, I fucking love. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm not a conservative. I'm
American.
I'm pro-freedom. I'm pro-freedom. That's what this country was founded on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of living this fake freedom life. He says people revolted over 10% tax. How much do we get taxed nowadays?
We get taxed on everything. You get taxed on your paycheck, and you got to pay tax on your food, and you got to pay tax on that tax, and then you got to pay taxes at the end of the year too as well. So
if I sell something, if I sell my car, I get taxed on that. I buy a new car, I get taxed on that.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, we've allowed it to get so out of whack and so out of check, and these fucking politicians just continue. Why do they go in making $300,000 a year, and then all of a sudden they're making their net worth is like $40 million?
Well, a lot of inside trading on that one too.
Oh, interesting. Are they not supposed to do that? Oh, why?
Oh, yeah, isn't that
Why do we let them allow? Why do we allow that to happen? Why do we sit here with our fucking dicks in our hand, or just sitting here staring at them like, yeah, that sucks. Nah, man. We as a people, we have to smarten up. And this is like, I can't stress this enough. This is for everybody. This is for fucking everybody. We can't allow us to get taken advantage of anymore. If we want our kids to excel in this world when we're gone, the next generations and this and that, we have to get shit serious. Because guess what? What was it? I think it was Mike Glover's podcast. He said, like, the war is already here. These things right here in every fucking person's pocket.
Don't get me started on these damn things.
Whatever you want to know. Yeah, bro.
I will literally. These things here have literally crippled us in
the dude that was on
different ways.
dude that was on Mike's podcast said these little anxiety boxes. I like that. I'm guilty, man. I check my story 50 times a day to see who watched it and this and that, see if there's any potential clients. And bro, I'm addicted. It's bad. And I've set time limits, blow through the time limits every day. Every day.
But especially the business owner, you kind of have to, though.
That's the problem. It's tough for me. I want to break away, but I can't. Podcast clips, they have to go out.
Yeah.
Content for my clients. I got to see what's going on. I have to be able to see trending music and put trending music out. I have to learn new techniques. I have to, keep up to date with new gear.
See what's trending.
It's very tough. But the war starts here with doom scrolling and social media and all of that bullshit. It keeps us locked in to an unreal world and a fictional world of a screen. Bro, pull the battery out on this fucking thing without anything in the background. We're staring at glass and metal. Just staring.
Looking at your reflection, basically.
Yeah, there was a campaign a long time ago. I forget what it was called. But the guy basically took all the phones out of everyone's hands, photoshopped them out. It's fucking weird if you see people that are just like this, social, taking selfies, this and that. The war is already here. The war of our minds, of our bodies, of our spirits, everything. It's already here. I put my phone on airplane mode every single night. I don't want, I don't want the fucking the 5G waves and shit like that. Oh, it's safe. Really? I'm told that fluoride in my water is safe too, because it's evidently good for your teeth.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
But it's actually shown to shrink the hippocampus. I forget which part of the brain. I'm good on that, bro. I filter my water. I remineralize it. Baby steps. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I don't want the thing blasting my brain all night over my nightstand. I don't even like it in my kitchen because God forbid there's an emergency or something like that. I don't want to have to go and get it. I'd rather it just be right there. Boop. Airplane mode off. There we go. Okay. Wi-Fi is bad enough. I'm sure the Wi-Fi isn't great that it's blasting me 24/7.
Constant radiation all day long, all night long.
Oh, but the trials with rats and everything else that we tested it on. Oh, they were fine. They didn't die, only in high levels.
And then the people that will do their research, they'll look at these studies and they'll read it as if they were actual human studies. But no, they were done on fucking rats, which are a little fraction just because they have similar ways of our brain working and their work. And we also it's easily get put into that rat race as well for us.
Yeah, dude, it's scary. It's really scary because we can get taken advantage of as humans super easily. We talked about this a little bit before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a grand scale taking advantage. It's you get taxed on everything and you just keep living in this slavery type fucking cycle. Fucking bad, man. And then the division kills me because they want us divided. They want me to look at black people like they're a problem. They want black people to look at me like I'm the problem. We're not. I love my black friends. I love black people. I love everybody. I really do. I don't give a fuck what color you are. It does not matter to me. If you are a good person, I fucks with you.
Yeah.
That is it. It don't matter to me how much melanin, how yellow your skin is, how fucking gray your skin is. I don't know. I'll fucking hang out with an alien. We'll hang out. We'll chill. Podcast it up.
Respectful. Why not?
Hey, bro, we'll podcast it up. We have to stop falling for these fake fucking narratives.
Especially for the Democrat and Republican shit. Like at the end of the day, we're nowhere near in our DNA and you're gonna find any of that whatsoever. You're not gonna see in your blood is red, and you're like because you're a Republican. Your blood's not blue because you're legitimate like a Democrat.
Bro, associating your entire psyche and personality with a political affiliation is insanity. It's insanity.
It's literal insanity. When I see people represent, I don't give a fuck who it is at the end of the day. When you wear a politician on your shirt or you have politicians on your hat and you're proudly just representing a fucking politician.
Yeah, dude. A person who actually doesn't give a fuck about you. And until they actually show that they care, I don't believe anybody.
Nope.
So, we have to get back.
Question everything.
Yeah, question everything, but you're not allowed to. Why? I can't say why. You're not allowed to. You can't question anything because then you're a denier. You're an anti-vaxxer. You're everything. You're all kinds of negative labels if you question something. Mm-hmm. Isn't the world? Don't we only advance as civilizations when we question things and come to solutions and problem solving together?
Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, we're all still human, and we still basically all have our own different mentalities. And some of us may see some things differently. Like just because you see a 6 and I see a 9 on the other side, doesn't mean that I'm wrong and you're right. Doesn't mean you're right and I'm wrong. At the end of the day, maybe you see this. Oh, maybe we'll go to the side. And, oh, maybe it's not even either what we saw.
Yeah,
it comes down to that division. They don't want us to unify. They don't want us to actually sit together and be peaceful. Growing up in Brentwood, I literally saw everything. All races, all faces, all genders, all beliefs of everything else that you guys have. I literally saw everything.
Melting pot. That's what you need. We need everyone to hang out with each other. That's the whole point.
When I went to basic training and I had guys who had never even met a black man before.
That's crazy.
That shit blew my fucking mind.
That's crazy.
That blew my fucking mind.
So what, you just see him on TV? Like what?
Yeah, they literally, that's it. Because it's all
magazines, to Instagram and TV.
It's a small white town. That's all it is. Just a small white town. They have no interracial background. They have no understanding of how maybe culture even works in general whatsoever. And they were some of the most, as a New Yorker, oh my God, some of these motherfuckers, I swear it took every ounce of me to not just swing on a motherfucker because of how they were talking and how they were reacting just because someone was.
So it's so different to them. That's the part of the problem. That's part of the problem of not allowing everybody to intermingle together. And then we create this divide, and all according to plan. Let's be really honest. There's a lot of coincidences that can happen, but after a while, you have to start looking at coincidences and go, really?
That really
How many coincidences am I going to see before I go, maybe this is planned. Maybe this is orchestrated. Maybe this is something that has been in the works for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. But once again, you go back to, well, you're fucking stupid if you think that. You're dumb if you believe that.
How dare you have an open mind?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I talked to Kareth a bunch of episodes ago. Shout out to Kareth. Kareth's the homie. Love him. We were talking, we got on the topic of like the moon and flat earth. Anybody that thinks that people that believe the earth is flat are stupid, I go, I don't know. Have you ever been to space? So you're just believing what you've been told? I don't know. Evidently, we went to the moon and the president called the astronauts live on TV. But when I drive through Dix Hills, I have no cell phone reception. Okay. I'm not saying that didn't happen, but I'm not saying it happened. I don't fucking know. I wasn't there. Were you in the space capsule with the astronauts? Were you up there? Were you doing a spacewalk? Oh no, so you just believe what you're being shown on. So we could have showed you Jurassic Park since you were little, said it was real the whole entire time, and then you went, no, that actually happened. John Hammond unleashed the dinosaurs on the island.
The T-Rex actually saved their life.
And you sit there and you go, are you fucking stupid? This is what I've been told from when I was little. So you have to have an open mind. You have to be able to say, like, I don't think it goes down like that. Religion, everything. Question everything. Talk about everything. Nobody fucking knows. Nobody knows what's going on. I'm figuring life out as we go. You're figuring life out as we go. Mm. My mom is still figuring out life as we go because it's ever changing. It's ever evolving.
Pretty sure they never saw what happened over the last couple of years, 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Bro, in the last, how old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay, so yeah, you're right there. I'm 32. Let's just say in the last 30 years, there has been very few generations that have experienced so many catastrophic type events in succession. Mm-hmm. You had the war, the World War I. Okay, but then it was peacetime, generally. But then Great Depression comes in. Great Depression.
And that ruins people's lives.
Okay, that we had that. And then, but I'm saying, like, it was more spaced out. But now with the spread of information, things have to happen quicker. And we're seeing everything live. And we're experiencing it emotionally. And we're seeing the people around the world through their camera as they hold it like this, as if we are watching it through them. That's why when you watch TikToks and this and that and all these different things and you're scrolling, you're taking in so much information in such a short amount of time.
Overwhelming amount of information.
Very overwhelming.
Overstimulating.
And that can fuck you up mentally as well.
Mm-hmm.
That can make you depressed. That can make you feel a type of way.
You also realize how much of your day you just wasted scrolling away on that damn phone and seeing meaningless videos.
20 minutes goes by like that. 20 minutes goes by like that. And I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it.
Last night I got home and then immediately it was I was on a Zoom call, but then I opened up my phone and then I'm looking down my phone and there's one thing after another and it was like, oh shit, I just missed like 10 minutes of this fucking Zoom call. Let me just throw this down and let me actually hone in on this conversation that people are having right now. It was, and actually, even the other day, I literally threw my phone across the room onto the couch and said, I'm not looking at that thing anymore the rest of the night. I'm done. I'm not looking at this thing because it was 2.5 hours had gone by. And I literally did absolutely nothing. I procrastinated the hell out of my day. And I was pissed because I wasted my time. We were talking a little bit about before how much we just hate our time being wasted. That's the number one thing I cannot stand the most.
Can't get it back.
That's the one currency you cannot get back. You can get back a possession. And also you can't get back people once they go.
Yep, animals.
Can't get
everything.
Can't get them back. And you can't get back your time. So if your time is spent having meaningless conversations also with meaningless people on an app, and also if they are having meaningless videos and all this stuff, when you're actually having quality people around you that you could be spending time with or doing something that you're a little bit more passionate about, putting that effort a little bit more maybe into the gym, putting that effort towards your hobby, write down something, read something extra that's actually valuable, and you can actually retain information that's going to be usable for whatever you want to do with your life, or even just opening up your mind and expanding your overall your brain in general when it comes down to the books that you are reading. Like, it's still to this day one of my favorite books of all time, and I could read this whenever I really want to because it's such an easy read for me now. It's Discipline Equals Freedom from Jocko Willink. That is hands down.
It's actually ironic that you say that because I was going to put his flag up in here. I'm trying to figure out where, because I have Discipline Equals Freedom flag. I think I'm going to put it over on that wall hanging down because it's from the side, so it'll say. It only came with 2 grommets because it's supposed to go on an actual flagpole.
Okay.
So I think I'm just gonna hang it like that, and then I also have Cam Haynes. I have Keep Hammering. I'm gonna put it over there probably.
Dude, those motherfuckers, man. It's people like that. Well, going back to just reading in general.
Yeah.
And then there's other books out there that if you really want to understand anxiety from point of view, is like another one that I recommend people. That's another easy read is Shook Ones by Charlemagne the God. Another very controversial figure, a very controversial person. But when it comes down to like understanding anxiety and the way like panic attacks happen as well, sounds like he's talking to you. Then there's other books. I'm reading one right now, Man in Search of Meaning, by Victor E. Oh my God, I'm gonna fuck up his last name, but his first name is
What's it
Victor.
called?
Man Search of Meaning. And I'm currently reading it right now because it was gifted to me for Christmas by one of my clients.
Man's Searching for Meaning, Viktor E. Frankl.
Yes, Frankl. How did I forget that last name? Because my neighbor was Mr. Frankl.
Frankl.
Yeah, that was so basically for those who really don't know the story about that, it's written by a Holocaust survivor. So it's a whole different like the stories that he's telling in there, and then also the experiences, and then hearing it from other men and what they were going through during that time frame and their mentalities during that time frame. It's a book that really makes you also challenge the way that you are also viewing everything as well. Is hitting that pothole and having a flat tire and having to repair that tire because you have a flat tire that much of a bad day that you're going to take the rest of that day and then you're going to turn it into complete shit because it happened early in the morning? No. You should take that time frame to actually say, okay, well, yeah, that sucked. Now move on and keep going with your day. Like the people that it teaches you a little bit more not to dwell, and people who just dwell on certain situations that are so minuscule. Like you had an argument with someone in the morning, and now that's going to affect your energy the entire day.
Dude, I'm gonna be real with you, man. I would get a check engine light and it would ruin my fucking. I have a check engine.
Well, that's a whole different light.
I have a check engine light right now, and I'm just I don't give a fuck. I'm so I'm like I don't care.
Riding it to the dirt.
There's so many other things that I could care about. I don't care about this. I'll figure it out. I'm just like whatever.
That's it. You're just blowing it off, like you're blowing it away, and you're focusing on the rest of your day.
I'll tell you what, man. I've said it a lot of times, and people are gonna think I'm a broken record. Apologize. It is what it is. Since I started jiu-jitsu, it has calmed me out in a very different way than I ever thought it would.
Yeah, it humbles you.
I am very calm now. And don't get me wrong, I get angry, but there's a lot of things I could give a fuck about, and I don't care. It has definitely helped me with the anxiety with Kenji and his medical issues, which, knock on wood, he's been great. But there's just something about that sport that makes me feel at ease with everything else because I'm doing something extremely hard. And let's talk about biology as a man. You feel like a man when you practice jujitsu and you're...
I mean, martial art in general, just like this is...
I would say martial art in general, yes, but...
Jiu-jitsu is, yeah, I know what you mean.
The rolling aspect, you're face-to-face...
It's physical chess.
Yeah, with another human being, generally a man, that more so than not. I grapple with girls here and there all the time because it's tough because it's like it's a balance because I don't want to be a douchebag. There's a couple things. I don't want to be inappropriate. I'm like so overconscious. When I take pictures with most girls, I do the Keanu Reeves, like the hand out like this. Yeah, I do. I'm telling you, I do that. I try to be so over the top, not sensitive, but hyper aware of boundaries, especially if the girl's got a boyfriend, stuff like that. I'm
being respectful,
super aware of shit like that. So with jujitsu, it's like when the girls are just sitting there and they're getting irritated because the guys won't roll with them, I'll be like, okay, let's go. Like, let's do it. And there's a balance of being appropriate, being not a bully, because let's be honest, a lot of these girls are like 130 pounds, 120 pounds, and I'm weighing 189, but I'm used to tossing around dudes that are 210, 215. So it's like I can't use all my strength, but then, if a move isn't working, you want to move, you just move on. With a dude, I'd muscle that shit. Like I'm getting a dude in Americana, I'm like, oh bro, there's no way this arm isn't going to the mat. Like we're gonna be here for a minute. Like we're cranking the arm. If I'm doing it for a girl and she just tightens up and she like puts her hands in the middle and she's not letting me grab an arm, okay, let's go north-south, or let's flip around to the other side and work the opposite side and get used to working the positions that we're not used to. And it's also good practice for them. But it's like,
yeah, women definitely need to do more jiu-jitsu.
Oh, they have to, without question. They have to.
Just for their own safety.
My friend Katie, she's going to sign her daughter up for jiu-jitsu. She has to. You got to know it. God forbid there's a dude that's about to rape a girl, or he's about to, you're not supposed to say that evidently because they'll flag you just for using the word. It's a fucking word. But evidently if the dude's going to like sexually abuse a woman or this and that, she has to know how to create that distance when he closes the distance to them. That's all grappling. That's all body manipulation. That's all understanding how to listen, put that motherfucker in a snap that shit and run. Like, you got to know these things. And it's super important that you do know these things. If I have daughters, they're going to jiu-jitsu. There you go. Day one. Yep. Enjoy. Yeah, you're going to get your ass kicked. Sucks. But guess what? It's going to teach you a lot of shit.
You need to learn that, though, at an early age. You need to be okay with getting your ass kicked.
Yeah,
in that manner, though.
And then you're going to be chill. You're going to be like, oh, shit, okay. And then, God forbid, they're ever in a bad situation. Oh, man, I've been here before. We're okay. Everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be great. I'm going to let this dude punk me? Absolutely not. Like, we're not getting down like that. So anyway, as a man, though, there's a camaraderie with jiu-jitsu. With schools, there's like a tribe mentality of dudes and people that are just trying to get better at a common sport and a common ancient practice, we can call it, even though it's not that ancient, but let's just call it like an ancient practice. And, you go back to being a man and having purpose. A lot of people have anxiety, depression, because they don't have purpose. They're stuck in the rat race. They're working for other people. They're not building things up for themselves. They're not
keeping themselves in hardships, not being able to afford certain things.
Exactly.
Themselves down and out, and not really giving themselves an opportunity to crawl out for themselves as well.
Exactly. So honing your mind, honing your body to now best an adversary that you're going against, even though they're teammates. When you're rolling, you're going against them. Like, it's either he's tapping or I'm tapping. But you could still be respectful, which I am. You always be respectful because nobody wants to roll with a guy that's an asshole.
I'm a talker. I
talk when I'm rolling too.
I'm a talker.
Dude, I tell people, I go, oh shit, that sweep was fucking sick.
Yep.
And then I'm like, all right, now I got to get out of this shit. And then they'll get me in something. I'll be like, I got to be honest with you, I don't know how to get out of this. So there we go. Let's start over. Yeah. So it's just having the purpose to bond as men. Let's just put it as men. men, be physical with one another, like the old Spartans, let's just say, like old Colosseum type shit. Be physical, but at the end of the day, we can still be gentle. Like, you know, there's multiple areas and sides to us, but it's that testosterone, man. You got to be able to get that out and into a controlled manner of a martial art, of a specialty.
It checks your ego also at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, dude.
Especially
I went in there. No,
I
went in there, and I want to let you talk. I went in there blank. Like I knew I was gonna. I'm like, I'm not assuming anything.
That's the best way, though. You could have.
Yeah,
that's the best way.
I'm like, I'm not assuming anything. And even those days, I have to check myself because testosterone. You look at somebody and they start besting you a little bit. You're like, oh, I'm not letting this mother. But then you start fighting, and you're fighting an uphill battle, and you just go, chill, bro. Just tap. It's not that big a deal. Because
you're not competing right now.
You'll get injured, or this and that, which I was actually going to compete tomorrow. I was going to slide into a tournament tomorrow. But my show, I don't know what it is, dude. I got to be honest. Like, my guy Nick and Scott, right there, kills.
Oh, yeah, I saw he was scraping you the other day, correct, right?
Ooh. Oh, dude, I'm beat up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm beat up.
All hickied up.
Yeah, I'm beat up.
Which that's where that training also could come into play as well.
I want to. So it's tough because let's talk about Mace stuff. Let's get into Mace stuff.
Yeah.
It's tough for me because I have a full gym at my mom's house, but my apartment, I have no room. I can't swing a mace.
That's where a club comes in then. So there's maces and then there's clubs.
Yes, I've used the clubs at Tom's before.
Yeah. Which again, shout out to Tom because Tom is
shout out Tom to Julie.
That man right there basically awakened a whole different aspect of my own training in general when I went there for the first time last year. Because not last year, actually it was 2022. Yeah, 2022 was it because it was a month after I had my another near fault with depression because of the alcohol. Like that's again whole nother topic for that part. But I went there for the first time, and for those who know Tom and have never met Tom, he comes across his Instagram as basically like, you know, the most angriest lifter, the most, you know, cold, dark, you know, angry person. But that man, if you actually talk to him about your shit, like that man will actually sit down and listen. That man will actually give you quality advice if you really ask him to. And if you're new to the whole kettlebell game, if you're new to just strength training in general, like, yeah, it looks intimidating at first, but that man's gym in general is something in the way he walks you through everything.
Strength Factory in Baldwin.
Yes, shout out to Strength Factory and shout out to all the people at the Strength Factory.
Yeah,
shout out Pooch.
Hard ass mother. Oh, Pooch is a fucking monster, dude.
Pooch is a beast.
Pooch is a monster. Love Pooch. I love everybody there. I love Eric.
Yeah, dude, Eric and
they're all dope humans, man, and it's cool. Once again, you go back to a tribal thing. You go back to a collective meaning of a collective good
all like-minded individuals.
Yeah, everybody just trying to get together and do cool, heavy shit together, overcome adversity.
That's great English.
Jesus Christ, oh my God, overcome all these things and then just be one with each other. It's really a cool environment.
Yeah, and it basically is from learning shit from there, man. Like that place is some place that I have dreamed of eventually having the kind of impact that it had on me, onto my clientele in general. But I completely forgot where I was going with that part, and with bringing him up.
Maces and clubs.
Thank you. So the very first time I even picked up the 100-pound club, that was the very first time I even picked up anything heavier than the personal ones that I swing, which is the heaviest I swung at that time was only 52 pounds. But even just loading that bitch up and holding it right here, I'm like, holy shit, it's 100 pounds in my hand right now. But the club training in general that's how I started. And you're going to see the club workouts in there. Shout out to Frank D'Amico.
Shout out to my man for bringing this for me. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's a gift. You know, it has basic, very easy descriptions. That's him right there. He is a shout out. Also thank him for his service. He is a paratrooper as well. He is a Army vet. You know, he's somebody that if you're really understanding of what it means to jump out of a plane and, you know, face your fears and all that shit. Frank did it, I think, over 100, 200 times, if I'm not mistaken. But you're going to see simple descriptions. You're going to see a QR code as well that you can scan, and it's actually going to basically show you a little video demonstration of the workout in itself. But they have the club workouts in there as well, and there's also something called an ARC that is from ADEX. So shout out to people over at ADEX Clubs and Maces. Shout out Donnie G, the creator and
Those
founder.
are those the maces and clubs you like?
Yeah, my personal favorites, just because they are adjustable. Now you can make it anywhere from 6.3 pounds all the way up to 52.5 pounds. And just recently they dropped a called Mastodon kit where you could bring it all the way up to 84 pounds, basically. Then they have the Gladiator Club that is a 100-pound club, basically. So you can get that a completely separate purchase as well. But when
what are the advantages that you've seen with mace and club work?
So not only with the shoulder mobility and shoulder strength, but an insane amount of calorie burn. So anytime I finish a workout, which is strictly doing maces and clubs and maybe in a little bit of kettlebells, I am burning anywhere between 1,200 to 1,800 calories just within my hour and a half. But then also bulletproof shoulders, man. When I tell you full range motion in my shoulders after having a couple parts of my labrum torn in this one and then a partial.
Did you have surgery?
Nope, no surgery at all needed after my car accidents. So I had a car accident that basically back in 2021, the seatbelt had completely jammed up into my shoulder and it created shoulder impingement, and then it had a couple of different micro tears in my labrum.
I think that's what I have. I think I have an impingement. I don't think
if you weren't able to get past here, so that's what I would take a guess.
Oh no, I can get past.
Oh, so
no, I have full. It's just right there that hurts. Right.
No PT, no doctor, but it could be either an impingement or it could just be micro tears.
Right there. That's where it hurts.
How did you hurt it?
No idea. It just started. It started getting a little bit worse, but I can work out.
Okay. So that's even better then, because with a club, then at that point, you're still able to rehab it and you're still able to get full range.
They were saying it was bicep. They were saying because my arms were locking in the middle of the night too. So my arms would basically, I'm sorry, but
you're good.
My arm basically I'd sleep like this sometimes on my side or whatever, or I'd sleep on my stomach and I'd sleep like this. And then I'd wake up. No, dude, I'd wake up and I'd go like this. I'd have to actually push my arm past because it felt like it was breaking my elbow. And I was getting super crazy tendonitis pain in my elbow area. Yeah.
So be careful then if you're going to swing heavy with the club, just because
I will not. I got to buy a club first, and I will not be swinging heavy.
Yeah, I'll tell you firsthand, my own personal experience. When the very first time I went really heavy with the 52, I definitely didn't brace properly when it comes down to activating my my lats and pulling it over, and I just yanked it over from my joint. Oh man, that hurt like a motherfucker.
Well, I've done them at Tom's. I have done them at Tom's. We did them, along with the kettlebells, and they were good. I just did never. I really. It's weird. I was kind of Tom was the first one that I started really doing more functional stuff. Then I went to OG after like a year or so at Tom's. Then I went to OG and I stopped really going to Bev's, and I tried a couple of times and just it didn't really. I'm just not into it anymore. I'm really not into the bodybuilding side of things anymore. I'm not into the
functional, getting strong, and
I don't give a fuck. I don't care how big I am anymore. I just want to stay lean. I want to stay healthy. I want to stay, active. I want to keep doing. I want to get fucking I mean, I'm already decent for my amount that I'm going. The competition classes on Sunday have definitely not only kept me humble, but have taught me a ton. Because then I go back to the white belt class and I'm just like rolling over dudes, certain dudes. I'm just like, I'll do a sweep. They'll be like, "Where'd you learn that?" I go, "Competition class." Like, I learn all these things.
What time is competition class on Sundays?
10 a.m. And we usually roll until like 11:30.
Okay.
So we'll usually get like, I want to say anywhere. If Gary's feeling, sometimes we'll just go right into matches. No drilling, no warm ups. So we'll just be like, "All right, regular matches go." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then we're cold and you're just trying to like warm up. You're like, "Oh, don't pull my shoulder like that." But we'll probably get anywhere from 6 to 8 5-minute rounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, dude, you're fucking toast.
Yeah, you're a whole mess and a half.
Oh, you're toast. And I'm going against guys that are generally blue and higher. I mean, there's a couple of white belts that I roll with there that are dope human beings. Shout out to Sean. Shout out to who else is a white belt that goes there? I think Sean is like the only white belt that goes there. Oh no, shout out to Simba. Simba's the homie. I don't think Simba listens to the podcast, but regardless, shout out to Simba. He's a good dude. And that's why they wanted me to compete, because they said, you have that window right now. You're a white belt. I only have 2 stripes. So they're like, now is the time to compete because you'll roll over a lot of dudes. But once you become a blue belt, now you're going against guys that are probably anywhere from just getting their blue belt to 3 years in to get a purple belt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, You could probably do well, maybe, if you keep it up and you learn more as you go. There's no saying that just because they're better, they're more advanced than me that I won't win. But you're going against dudes that are way more advanced now,
Right.
Which I do now anyway. But still, it's different.
But that's how you learn.
There's a difference between like me and you rolling together at the comp class and going hard but being respectful.
Yeah.
And then a dude at a tournament that's about to be a purple belt and he rips my fucking arm in an arm bar trying to tear every ligament in it.
Yeah.
Like there's a big difference between those two factors. Even though they're both hard and they're both difficult challenges for me, there's one that's more risky than the other. So I'd rather be more methodical with things. And like I said, I wanted to go compete tomorrow. Everyone was like, oh, just slide into the tournament, slide in. And I just said, you know what, man, with how my shoulders are right now, with how my elbows are, dude, they're the crackiest fucking elbows I have lately. It's just everything. It's not just jujitsu. It's all the physical.
It's quality of life.
It's double training. It's not taking recovery. It's not getting body tissue and work done. Last time I was at PT was when I had another injury, like 3 months ago. It wasn't regular visits where they can open up the fascia and make me feel good. By the way, Amanda did the fascia.
I was about to say, did you go see Amanda for that?
She did it in my leg. She did it in my quad when I was having quad and knee issues from jiu-jitsu when I first started. And I felt great afterwards. I felt great.
Yeah, for those who don't know what we're talking about, myofascial release is one of the most like deepest like webbings in your body. And Amanda, from what I've been told so far from numerous people, and seeing it firsthand too, seeing people's relief and seeing how they get off that table, and it's like, wow, like I genuinely feel like a whole new human being. Like that's something that was also, it's like she took her training route, but now she's expanding around that route as well. So another reason why I emulate around her, because she's a never ending learning machine. Basically,
yeah, she's dope. Well. She's dope. Love Amanda. She's awesome.
Yeah, for the clubs.
So yeah, go back to the clubs, please.
So especially from ADEX is the reason why I promote them a lot, is because you get anywhere between a 3.5 pound club and it goes all the way up to 27.5.
How do you spell that?
ADEX.
ADEX. Hold on.
I know it should be pronounced ADEX.
PSENG texted me another storm tonight with rain and gusty winds.
Oh, phenomenal! More flooding.
Sick. Let me check that out.
But yeah, so ADEX clubs. Shout out Donnie G. My cousin actually helped him develop that company, basically. Not to the point where it's at right now. He basically gave him a baseball bat and then he welded some plates to it. My cousin's a welder. Shout out Sal.
That's not it. How do you spell it again?
ADEX clubs. ADEX. Oh, you had to put clubs also. My bad.
Oh, ADEX club.
Yeah, ADEX clubs. So they're based out of Deerfield, Florida. They have a actual storefront over there where you can even see the 100-pound club and swing the 100-pound club as well. I highly encourage you if you're down in the Florida area.
You know what they look like? They look like the donuts that you used to put on the bats back when you were in like Little League to warm up before you went out. Like those round, that's what it looks like. It looks like a bunch of donuts underneath the club handle. That's cool.
And especially for baseball players, baseball players and quarterbacks or tennis players, anybody who really needs to go into multipolar movements, I can speak English.
It's all right. I can't speak English.
Movements. So you want to multipolar, meaning full 360 motions, not just pressing, not just pulling, not just going straight back. You're going in a full 360 motion, because at the end of the day, that's your shoulder. Your shoulder is a multipolar joint. You should be training in a multipolar fashion, basically just putting up strength behind your mobility. Yeah, you can have loose shoulders. Yeah, you can have strong shoulders, but can you have loose and strong shoulders at the same time?
Yeah, no, I was just concerned about pressing the 150s back in the day and doing all that. And I did it, but I mean, okay, great. But can you move that weight around besides just here?
Yep.
And I injured myself. I was actually talking to Nick about it. I injured myself years ago doing shoulder presses, and it was this shoulder. So it could just be a re-agitated injury. You never know.
Especially the shoulder. It's very easy to re-aggravate things as well.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, I'm surprised that my shoulder didn't rip in fucking half. I am shocked. Long story short.
You were pressing 150s above your head.
I wasn't pressing 150s on that one, but it was 90s. But basically, long story short, what happened was I was training at Apple. I was getting ready for a show. I worked at Apple. I was getting ready for a show, a bodybuilding show. And I went and trained shoulders before my shift at Apple. I had a 9:30 to 5:30 shift, whatever it was. That was like the best shift you could have. Mm-hmm. There was a 2 to 10 shift that was dog shit. Nobody wanted that shift. That shift is horrible. 2 to 10:30 actually. So anyway,
that's gross.
Yeah, horrible. But I seem to always get it. But anyway, so
I was running there. Fucking 5 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Oh, dude. So I train shoulders, and my buddy at the time calls before work. My buddy at the time calls me after work, and he goes, "Yo, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm gonna go home, just chill, watch TV." He goes, "Oh, do you want to go train shoulders?" I said, "Oh, I trained this morning." Come on. All right, fine. I go to the gym with him. We go train shoulders. We're training, warming up, doing shoulder presses again. I get up to the 90s. And as I'm pushing the 90s, I see him grilling somebody in the mirror because we're at a new gym, like just trying it out. He's grilling some dude in the mirror, like literally staring him down, being a fucking douchebag.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, dude, I put the weight up. It was like the 8th rep. I'll never forget it. I put the weight up. It goes up. And it's my right shoulder that did it. I don't want to do it with my right. And it locked and it went all the way back with the 90. And I knew it was going to fall and he wasn't paying attention. He wasn't spotting me.
Bad spotter.
So I pulled it back forward with the 90 like this. And then I dropped it in front of me. All I heard was, that was all I heard.
Mm.
Great.
Mm.
So I called my coach. I go, yo, I think I fucked my shoulder up pretty bad. And he just goes, what are you doing, bro? Didn't you hit shoulders this morning? I said, yeah. He goes, how much, like, what's the dose?
As a coach, I would have smacked the shit.
He said, what? Well, he's in Florida. He's the functional medicine guy. He goes, just curious. He's like, how many different steroids are you taking? I said, none. He goes, yeah, exactly. You're not recovering to train the same body part twice a day.
Mm.
He's like, are you fucking stupid? What are you doing? So he had me do like the go up against the wall and then like just push your hand like this, just like this against an object. And he said, if it hurts in the middle, that's a good indication of a rotator cuff or a labrum tear or something like that, because the force of it, you'll feel the pinching. So luckily there wasn't anything. It was pretty difficult to sleep for a couple of weeks, and then it just went away. But it could be that, you know. I trained.
Could be a re-aggravation, yeah.
I trained very linear, would it be linear, or you could say what's the other term? Fuck, man, now I'm forgetting it. I was gonna sound cool and intelligent as fuck for saying that. I was gonna sound so cool and so tough. And by tough, I mean intelligent. Intelligent.
My goofy ass was about to say sagittal, but I didn't. So yeah, good trick.
Binary. Thank you.
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay.
Wow, you and I, English is not our good side today.
Especially, no, not at all.
But yeah, very risers. Binary. A to B, 1 to 2, like just that way. And training with Tom, it opened my eyes to train differently.
Mm-hmm.
And with the kettlebells and the maces and this and that. So I say all this to say, it's a lot of words to say this, but I say all this to say, I bought a bunch of equipment in my mom's garage during COVID. I can't really do anything in my current apartment, but when I have my own home at some point, whether it's here, whether it's Austin, whether it's a different state, because I've been looking at different states just in general, in the next like 3 to 5 years, I'm going to make a decision. I'm staying or I'm going. Figure it out. So by then, I'll know if I'm staying, I'm staying. If I'm not, I'm out.
3 to 5 years is a solid way to.
That's what I'm saying. I want to take my time.
That's solid.
Make my money, build the podcast up, hang out, make connections, but go travel and visit the other places and see.
Right.
Could I live here? Maybe, maybe not. But I want to create in the garage, I want to create a training area. I have a monster Rogue rack that I bought during COVID. It's fucking top of the line rack. It's so dope. It's got the fat bar, pull-up bar. It's humongous. It's got all the landmine attachments on it. It's got everything.
All right, well, that's one less thing, less piece of equipment you got to buy then for that.
Yes, exactly. So I have that already there, right there. I want to put some jiu-jitsu mats down. I want to get some sandbags. I want to get kettlebells. I want to get some maces. And that's it, dude. We're talking like tank status. That's all I want to do. I don't want to do this fucking...
I mean, look at Tom in general. The man is throwing a 330-pound sandbag over his fucking shoulder.
I think what's insane about Tom is that he just has no stop. I think that's the part that's been so amazing to me, is that he has no relaxation mode.
No.
He has no... Like, he has off days, but he doesn't. Which I find funny because he yells at me all the time about training at OG in the morning and then rolling jiu-jitsu at night. He's like, how many times am I going to tell you? Don't train twice in a day. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? You like train all day.
Literally. And he'll say, because I'm different.
Yeah.
Because it's me.
I'm built different.
Which, I mean, not for nothing. The man really is. He really is big.
Hey, real talk, he is different.
Yeah. That man is different. Like, just humbly, like it took me a couple of times to go in there to not throw up after my workout or in the middle of my workout. The very first time I got there, I puked my brains out.
It was one workout that was just horrific. Me, Gabe, and Tyler. We all trained there. pretty regularly for about, I'd say 6 months. We were training there. This is before he had his spot, Strength Factory. We were training at Hit House with him.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were training there, and man, there was one workout. We left that night. We were like, holy shit! All of us were in the parking lot. I think I got a Kenji hair on my face. All of us were just looking at each other like, it is a challenge to not throw up right now.
Yeah.
We gotta keep this bitch in.
It was. I tried my hardest to keep that shit in, but it took me until I want to say like my 7th or 8th visit down to the factory that I actually was able to hold down my whole entire. It was finally, but every single time Tom would come out, Tim, you good? Yep, I'll be back in 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Just leave me alone.
I run back in, finish up the workout though. Still no excuses, because that's exactly how the environment is over there. I'll never forget the first day when I was there, and then I went down and puked. I'm thinking, oh man, I should take it a little easy. And then Tom's there, screaming like, "What are we doing? Like, let's go, get back into going, let's get back moving."
Yeah,
but. He really opened up my eyes to a couple of different things with that. But I would that's why bringing this up. I highly do encourage getting an ADX club just because of the functionality. You don't have to buy 10 different clubs at 5 different weights. They can just get one club that is literally anywhere between 3.5 pounds up to 25 pounds, depending on how much you want to put on there as well. And you can get a phenomenal shoulder mobility, and you can also get a shoulder pump, and as well as a very good cardio workout as well, and endurance, and focusing on your grip strength too. Equipment like clubs, maces, kettlebells, and sandbags do nothing but just also improve your jiu-jitsu game as well. It's I'm not speaking from someone who I'm still also a white belt as well.
We got to roll together, bro. We got to get it done, dude.
I'm absolutely down for that. I am absolutely down for that. Yeah. But basically the whole unconventional training style is a major cater towards that game, or just martial arts in general. And the stronger you make your shoulders, the stronger that you make your body overall, like density wise, and be able to work on your endurance and push past those limits mentally, is more that's going to translate onto the mats. It's more that's going to translate into life in general too. When I was basically first introduced to sandbags in general, I had never even touched a sandbag until last year. Until 2022. Yeah, I keep forgetting we're in 2024 now.
Goes by quick.
It goes by way too fucking.
Goes by quick.
Goes
That's
by
why you got to enjoy it. You got to enjoy the journey.
Yes.
Goes by quick.
I'm in this shit 7 years now, and it's like I remember starting like it was nothing, and where I'm at now, I'm incredibly thankful for. Because also dropping 106 pounds and then putting on 20 pounds of muscle over the last 6 years has been the best shape I've ever been in right now, but it's all really thanks to that lifestyle as well. Like, I barely hit pretty boy muscle, and I get shit for saying that. I get shit for saying I'm working on pretty boy shit today, and I'm doing bicep curls, or I'm doing chest press and all that other stuff too. Like, yeah, it's a good compliment to add towards everything else as well, but it shouldn't be the only main source of training. If you're really looking to get a nice, strong, lean physique, you should be focusing a lot more on adding unconventional tools and unconventional, workouts in general, like Turkish get-ups with a kettlebell, or Turkish get-ups with a sandbag. Oh, lean boy. Full lean boy.
That was the pretty boy muscle from me.
Good God. Yeah, you are literally a fucking...
150.
And what is that, like the fucking 2% body fat? Like 3%?
I was like, dude, honestly, I was probably like 7 or 7.
Oh, bullshit. No.
Yeah, I swear.
Dude, no fucking way.
I swear, I was probably about 7.
Like, where was the fat? In your ass cheeks and your fucking thighs?
I had it, man. It was crazy. It was like, but that was the lowest I've ever been. I'll never get like that ever again. I felt horrible.
Good. Oh, see, and then that's the other part I wanted to get to as well. When I was at my leanest, when I went from 289 to 184. Okay. That was hands down the most sickest and the weakest I had ever felt in general. Going from 289 to 184. I sat there and I could not believe how much shit I had felt like, but then also how much of a mental setback it was, because I thought this is what I wanted. I thought I wanted to lose all that weight. I thought I wanted to look this lean and feel this strong. But reality is I wasn't happy at all with the way I was also feeling. So regained the muscle. Now comfortably sitting at 202 to 205, depending on the day and depending how much I eat. It wasn't until this last year where I also reintroduced creatine into my life, and creatine has done nothing but phenomenal wonders, and as well as Shilajit. I take a natural Shilajit as well, which is basically helping my body with the folic acid and also enhancing a little bit more of my lifts and getting me a little bit more stronger. I take
methylated vitamins. I started taking those. That helps with folic acid. That helps give you actual folate.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, Gary, I'll send you a link. Yeah, it's very good. I'll tell you what, man. I've been sleeping better since then, since I've been taking it, and I have. I'm not really an anxious person. I am when I'm a deep thinker. So
Same.
when I start to think very deeply,
Very easy to overthink.
it's very easy to overthink about just life and just everything. So that I believe is the main cause of anxiety that I have. But since taking the methylated folate, I feel very calm and at ease. I think it's a combination of jiu-jitsu, fitness, getting my diet down to where I need to be.
It's a full circle because
It's a full circle.
At nighttime too is when those thoughts really start to creep in, and it's just like, what is death, and what is it going to feel like when this person's gone and that person's gone, and all these other things start rolling into your brain. It's like, why is this happening?
We're getting older. Our
on?
parents are getting older. You start going, oh God, okay.
Like, how much time have I wasted? Oh my God, I wasted so much time on this person. I wasted so much time doing that. I wasted so much time. This is time. Holy shit!
I don't waste any time on people anymore.
No,
my relationships are like sinus infections. They're in, they're out. I'm over it. This is the first fucking second that you show me that this is a bad thing, I'm good on it. I don't waste any time anymore.
I feel bad for this generation, dude.
I've been single since
feel bad.
I have been single since 2018. I've been single since 2018, and I'm so okay with that because I look around and I see everybody jumping into relationships, jumping into engagements, jumping into weddings, jumping into having kids, just because they feel like the age marker has defined that they've hit a certain point in their life that they need to get to that.
Boom.
And that's not what it's about. It's about loving somebody. It's about being with somebody that you respect. It's about seeing their core values and how they believe in the world, how your views align. And even if they don't align, maybe you're yin and yang. Maybe you, not in a positive or negative way, but maybe your thought processes balance each other. You don't have to agree on everything, but you can have maybe some good debates. You could teach each other things about that the other person didn't know. And then maybe if you guys want kids, you have kids. Instead, everybody just fucking without condoms, having kids, and just then they're looking at each other like, who's going to raise this little motherfucker? Well, you guys are, and you hate each other. So good luck. Yeah, let's try not to fuck the kid up. Let's try not to.
That's what it's also creating. It's a whole generation of broken individuals. Again, we're coming from another generation where our generation, growing up necessarily wasn't even. I feel like the 90s was the start of it, where you had the broken households, the broken families, and then it led to that family. Like it leaked into this child. Now that child that's broken, and that child's going to broken. They're going to make another broken child.
Yeah, until the cycle. Until the cycle ends, and it ends with It ends when you decide it ends. It ends when you decide that you're going to stick around as a father with the child, no matter how hard the consequences or the circumstances are. You're going to be there. That is your child.
Yeah, and at the end of the day,
and I got
to be men.
And exactly, be men.
Men need to be men.
Yes,
but that doesn't mean to be an asshole and all that shit. It means you're stern, you're kind, you're loving, you're listening, and you're also able to be a savage when you need to defend your family.
And when you have to defend your family, you're going to be, some dude commented on my TikTok. I found it very, YouTube short, very funny that when I put a clip up saying that you are a role model for your family. Don't be the fat dad. Don't be the dude that's out of shape and this and that. But your kid's looking at you. Set the example like you have to. I heard that on a couple podcasts with John Bernthal, the dude who plays the Punisher.
Okay.
His podcast. This dude, Nick, super Greek last name. He's awesome. He's fucking awesome. But he said that shit. He's like, yo, be the fucking example. Your kid's looking at you. Your kid is looking at you. Set the fucking example. And I basically said that. I said, I want the better for my lineage. I want my child to have every opportunity as in that. And then the person commented, my, all about you. No, it's about the kid. It's like, are you fucking stupid? Are you out of your mind?
Like,
yeah, it is about the kid.
You fucking
That's why
idiot.
I'm saying I want the best for the kid. I don't want to be a weak dad. I want to be able to teach them values and core values of life and how to be a good human being, but be firm and not get taken advantage of and protect my family. God forbid I ever need to. The response time, and Tim Kennedy said the response time for the police in Austin is 8 minutes. 8 minutes you're going to be fighting somebody off. He said, we're doing 5-minute rounds in a padded, air-conditioned room.
That he's not even really literally trying to kill you. That
it's
8
minutes you're going to be
back.
fighting somebody off until the police get there. It starts with you. Don't let it start with making a phone call, because that's your first fucking mistake. You have to be able to defend yourself and your family. So when we talk about dads that are out of shit, that disappear, listen, I stopped talking to my father recently. I stopped talking to him Thanksgiving. We had a bad fallout. He's talked shit about my mom again. My parents have been split up since I was 2. I've always had a friendly relationship with my father. We are not on the same brainwave. My dad has MS. I've always had a soft spot for him because he's sick.
Right, because you feel bad in
But
general.
I hate his family. His family's nothing but miserable pieces of shit. They've done nothing but twist his mentality. They've done nothing but manipulate things and just they're nasty human beings. They're just always been nasty.
And just because they're family doesn't mean you have to keep them around, no.
Exactly. But my dad is too stupid to see that. So that's his own journey that he failed at. So that's his own lessons that he is bringing. If reincarnation,
You're learning from that lesson,
if reincarnation is real, my man's gonna have to come back and do that shit all over again. So good luck, brother. Good luck in the next one. So, I stopped talking to my dad because he said some shit about my mom again. And I told him, I said, yo, dude, watch your mouth. I'm not playing with you right now. Watch your mouth. You haven't been a part of my side of the family, the Rizzos. You haven't been a part of that family in years, since the early 90s.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
So don't say anything about my grandmother, my aunt, my mom. Keep their names out of your mouth. Don't do that shit. And since then, as a father, he should have had the balls to call his son on Christmas, call his son on New Year's. Hey, listen, I was wrong.
I fucked up.
I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry, this and that. Nothing. So guess what? Have fun rotting in the chair, brother. I can't help you.
How old is he?
I don't even know. I think I know he's in his 60s, but truthfully, I don't even know.
That's that generation in general, too.
That's what I'm saying.
They have a hard time apologizing for shit. They just want to dust it under the rug and move on.
They have a problem. Same thing with our generation because it's almost as if they trickled down from them. They have a problem with accountability. They have a problem with saying, yo, I said something and I was wrong. You know how many times I say things on the podcast when I go, I said it a couple times already. I could be wrong.
You can be.
I'm not a medical professional. I'm not an expert on all things.
We're not perfect human beings.
No, I know things about a little bit about everything, or a little bit about a lot of things. But when it comes down to it, it's like, be accountable. I fucked up. I'm gonna say one of my clients recently, I was supposed to shoot horizontal photos for a job site. I was supposed to shoot horizontal photos. No, I didn't forget. They just didn't look good horizontal, so I shot a bunch of vertical. And there was a lot of finger. I was just like, it was me. It didn't look good horizontal, so I shot him vertical. Sorry. I'll accept the blame.
Up to it.
Yeah, I'll accept the blame, but I mean, creatively, this is what you hired me for. They look better like this. That's it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, the camera just wouldn't let me do it. Nah, bro. It is what it is. We hold the accountability. We talk about it. We do this, that.
Also gives you freedom as a man. Like at the end of the day, it just shows that you're an honest person, that you're truthful to yourself, and you hold yourself to your own. You hold yourself accountable to the best of your ability.
It's so easy to lie. It's so easy to fib. It's so easy to make excuses. I've been there. We've all been there. And then just at some point, you have to just think about it and go, well, I have to be accountable for everything in my life. Mm-hmm. Everything. My body, my mind, my soul.
It's very easy to point fingers.
My actions.
Very easy to do this and say, I'm not there. I'm not here because of this person and that person. Yeah. Quoting Rocky right now.
Oh, I got fired from this job, so it's their fault that I now had to go rob these people. No, that's you, bro. Go get a new job. You'll be okay. Go get a new job. Yeah. But no, we don't. We people don't think like that. So anyway, on the top, I don't even fucking remember what we were talking about.
But again, the art of podcasting, it goes around in full.
Yeah, it goes everywhere, bro.
But it went all the way from club training and everything.
Club training to fuck dad. That's crazy,
man. But the biggest part in this generation that I really do hope that the next generation of men do start to really do is hold themselves accountable, but also basically become better versions of their family and better versions of what you're meant to be. Is take the lessons of what your parents and your family did not do and where they failed at, and taking their lessons and turning it into blessings.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, you're also watching everything from when you're very young. So you can do one of two things. You can either fall in line and become exactly who they were, or you can see exactly what not to become and what not to do, but then take the successes that they had. Meaning, like my example is, my parents, we never struck, never did anything else like that. They weren't physically abusive alcoholics. There was nothing like that whatsoever, but there was still something about when you're, it's 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and then you're seeing, your mother and father starting to argue over who drank the last sip. Like that was, and seeing them buy a new bottle and literally open it up at 11 o'clock. To now having the relationship I have with my parents and my family in general, having them 9 years sober, it's a completely different feeling when you are trying to put together the right words for it. But when you develop a different kind of relationship, seen exactly what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm seeing exactly what they can do, which was when my mother went away, got herself cleaned up, my dad kicked it on his own. He stepped up to the plate. He became a man and said, you know what, if I really want my wife that bad, if I really want to change up and I really want to save my family, I'm going to make the change. So that's what I saw. And then that's what made me even a little bit more closer to my father in general and closer to my family, because they actually made the changes that was needed to make. And then it also was a visual representation of, hey, if you really want to make those changes, you can make those fucking changes, regardless of what it is. And also I'm a prime example of it as well. Anyone that had met me when I was in my early 20s, first off, I am very sorry. I am very, very sorry. Even still now, I still make mistakes. I still fuck up. But at the end of the day, I take accountability for my actions and I learn from my lessons and I turn those lessons into blessings just because of being able to look at that view. What up, buddy? Yeah. All right. So one thing I want to say before, he is a lot bigger in person. I know you get that a lot. He is a lot bigger in person, but he is such a mush and it's so soft too.
For the audio listeners, my man is petting Kenji right now.
Yeah,
I'm glad to have Kenji back in the studio because for a little while there,
I'm glad too
for a little while there, I was leaving him out from the podcast because of the seizures and the epilepsy. I was leaving him at home because my office was 30 minutes away and it was just like too much. But now that it's just like right here with everything, it just makes it so much easier. I just bring him and he
vibes.
That's it. He
literally fits the vibe.
He's on the thumbnail of the episode. Yeah, you love him.
Your head in.
You're such a good boy.
You are a good boy. I know. You're such a sweetheart. Like, he is so beautiful. He's such a beautiful dog. Such a beautiful dog.
He's a good man.
Dude, it's been real on here, man. Like, this has been something I've been wanting to do with you for a while, just because we have very similar, like-minded and very similar ways of viewing life, and then also just our habits and what we do for our having clientele and stuff like that. It's an honor to talk to all the people who like Tom, like Amanda, like yourself, who are doing exactly things that I want to do with my life in the future, and do things that, as far as like making the connections I want to make with connections, and leave an impact on people. And that's where coming back to this part. Well, who I am now versus who I was even just 5 years ago is a completely different. Even where I just was last year, it's a completely different person. And if you are not changing every single year for the better, you're just holding yourself back from experiencing the best moments of life when you can actually achieve certain levels of growth and be able to hold yourself accountable, but also take that accountability, turn it into something where you can also now teach somebody else how to be accountable, or learn from your mistakes and teach somebody how to not only just be accountable, but maybe somebody just needed an ability to look in with themselves, be able to say like, oh, I can hold myself accountable, but I don't have to be a complete dickhead to myself and treat myself like shit and say you're an asshole, you're a fuckface, and all this other stuff in the mirror. But you just basically give yourself an ability to now love yourself into a deeper manner. Like, it's a deeper form of self-love when you actually hold yourself accountable, when you actually make yourself do the right things, and you're doing the things that are going to be not only just better for you, but better for your future family too, like fitness in general, eating right, drinking right, and at the same time, just being an open listener to your family and being open listener to those that you care as well. The art of listening has become so forgotten now that people just listen with the intent of replying and not with the intent of fully understanding. When you actually take the time to fully understand maybe where someone's coming from and you don't fully agree with them, well, then maybe that 6 that you're seeing could be the 9 that they're seeing, and you're going around opposite way around with that. It's something that you really have to be aware to as well. Is like, am I really just now? If I don't want to talk to somebody, I'll outright just like shut them out, or I'll talk to them. I'll walk away and say like, I appreciate the conversation, but I'm good here, because your only thing that you're talking about are meaningless things. Like, you're going out tonight, you're gonna go fucking hook up with X amount of people. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get around people who are just talking about growth and being able to learn from their lessons. It being able to listen to where people are talking about not only their problems, because then who knows, maybe down the road you end up with that problem, and now just because you now don't, you're dealing with that problem, now you have no solutions. But if now you have somebody that's been through that and has proper solutions now to that, now guess what? That person that was just listening to you, maybe not even giving them advice, maybe they just want someone to listen. For the art of listening, just being able to vent off things, because even just venting, that's basically what therapy is, but just non-biased information, non-biased advice coming right back to you. Finding people that can also listen to you and make you feel heard. That's another part of this life that it's sad that it's not being as taken serious as people just looking for celebrity or people just looking for, being surrounded by so many different people. Meanwhile, there's people that are in your life, good people, that there are individuals that maybe you're not giving the time of day to fully, but they can be some of the most sweetest, nicest people because they just want to hear your day and listen to you. Just listen. I went on a full tangent there and I did that 10 different circles. So my apologies for that part there.
Okay.
So guilty of doing that on my own show.
I do it all the time. I actually, what is your podcast?
So
you have to give me I'll just shoot me the episode link and everything like that. I'll put it in the show notes too.
Yeah. It's a Welsh Care podcast. You can find me on YouTube. Looking to expand out and onto Spotify and everything else very shortly. But
are you not on the other ones?
No, because again, I haven't had the time to sit down, and because by the time I get home, it's shower, eat, sleep.
Yeah, but you're already recording it, so you just have to put it on like one of the hosting sites, and then it'll push it out to all the sites automatically.
It does that now.
What?
I didn't know that was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, listen. I'm not a tech savvy. Yes, I'm 28 years old, and yes, I'm a little bit more of the younger side, but I'm nowhere near tech savvy like some of these other people too.
I'll show you. I use Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout's really good. And you basically host it on there, and then you upload your episodes there. It pushes it out to all the RSS feeds throughout Spotify, Apple.
I did not know that.
Radio, all that stuff. And then I usually just share the Apple podcast link and the Spotify link, and then your YouTube video is separate because it's video. So if you're just are you recording audio separately?
No, it's literally all in one shot.
Then you just pull the audio from the video. Just export the audio by itself without the video.
Yeah, and that I do have. I do have a separate audio and a separate video because I was recording on Zoom for a little while.
Yeah, so that's what you do. Yeah,
I did not know that.
I got you. I'll show you. I'll show you when we wrap up.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, dude. Come on, man. Listen, I'm cool with giving game to people that actually deserve to get the game. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that ask me for free game, and I talk about that often. It's tough for me because I get paid to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Not the podcasting quite yet. It's soon, but the video work and all this stuff. I've had to teach myself all of this. Every piece of equipment in the studio. I never knew what the fuck any of this shit did. I had to learn. I didn't call anybody up and go, "Hey, bro, I know you use XYZ." The only person that I ever asked any advice from, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, is my boy Sam. My boy Sam shoots car videos. He's fantastic, but he's been shooting videos since we were in high school. I've only been shooting videos since like 2017, 2018. So he's phenomenal. Unbelievably works with Lexus Racing Team. He works with a lot of big names in the car or in the automotive space and in business space as well. But when I first was buying a camera, I didn't know anybody else that knew cameras. So I called him and I just said, "Hey, should I buy a Nikon or a Sony?" Sony. Okay. Maybe a couple questions here and there, or along the line. Nothing too crazy. And that's it. That was my free game. But the people I get people that fucking hit me up and they're just like, "Hey, can you just like walk me through the entire process of how you record a podcast, how you edit everything, how you put it out there, how you distribute it, how you edit the clips?" I'm like, "What?
Who are you?"
No, bro, I can't. You want to pay me for a consulting fee? I got you. But I can't just...
Free game like that?
Dude, I can't just sit here for 2 hours and explain everything to you. And then the next person that calls me in the same week, and the next person, and the next person. It doesn't work like that. So yeah, so I will happily show you that when we wrap. I did want to talk a little bit about the military.
Yeah. So basically right now, the biggest problem that the veterans are having right now when it comes down to just readjusting into civilian lifestyle, but it is also their addictions and their problems and now converting into their civilian life, and then they're ruining their families. And they're also ruining their own mental health. It wasn't that long ago. I want to say it was about 4 weeks ago now, right before the holidays, I had to take a friend to the hospital because he had called me saying he was not in the right state mentally. We didn't serve together. He was someone I knew from high school, and then he wasn't feeling right at all whatsoever mentally. So I did the same thing that I did for myself, where when I wasn't feeling right, I brought myself over to St. Catherine's Hospital, and that's where I took him. I took him to St. Catherine's Hospital. I let him check in, and then we stayed in contact basically every single night since. After he got released, basically. After he got released, we've been in contact every single night and making sure that he is good. He hasn't drank since. He hasn't done anything else since. And the biggest problem with the military right now is just the lack of attention towards mental health with them. Because when you are in the military, yes, they do promote you, talking to your leadership and talking to your higher ups when you're going through your struggles mentally. but it doesn't really mean anything gets really done about it, most of the time. Especially if you say you want to hurt yourself in the military and you've been in for a little while, you literally are then turned away from training, and then you have to go sit around and just wait around and then become basically isolated. It's what happened with me. So
I want to interject real quick.
Yeah.
Dr. Amen is a psychologist who does brain scans.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
Yeah, Dr. Amen is dope. So you talk about depression and all these different things, especially with veterans that have PTSD and that go through a lot of shit throughout the military and throughout their service. And Amen Clinics has 5 scary ways that alcohol damages the brain. So I'm going to summarize this. I'm not going to read the entire thing for each one. But number 1 is it shrinks brain volume. So people who drink just 1 to 7 drinks per week have smaller brains than non-drinkers, according to a 2008 study at Johns Hopkins that appeared in the archives of neurology. This same research found that people who have 2 or more drinks per day have even more brain shrinkage. Changes in the brain can occur early. A 2020 study in Scientific Reports found that moderate drinking was associated with lower total brain volume in early middle age, ages 39 to 45, in both males and females. Research on adolescents and alcohol consumption in developmental cognitive neuroscience showed that those who became heavy drinkers between the ages of 12 to 17, compared to those who did not drink alcohol, started out with lesser brain volume and lost even more brain volume over time. Number 2 is it lowers blood flow to the brain. The brain scans of heavy drinkers show reduced overall blood flow to the brain. The brain uses 20% of the blood flow in your body, and it's critical for a healthy brain function. Number 3 is it causes atrophy of the hippocampus. Drinking 1 to 2 glasses of wine a day, which is considered moderate drinking, leads to atrophy in the hippocampus, according to a 30-year study of 550 women and men that was published in 2017. The hippocampus is a critical brain region for learning and memory. Number 4 is that it reduces the number of new brain cells. So excessive alcohol consumption lowers the generation of new brain cells, especially in the hippocampus, according to animal research presented at Neuroscience in 2009. In the study, monkeys that consumed alcohol experienced a 58% decline in the number of new brain cells formed and a 63% reduction in the survival rate of new brain cells. And number 5, it increases the risk of dementia. So compared with non-drinkers and light drinkers, moderate to heavy drinkers have a 57% higher risk of dementia, according to research in the Journals of Gerontology, Series A. Drinking can literally make you lose your mind. Sorry to interject, but I know Dr. Amen has really great tips. So as you start to talk about that, and then we wonder, now you're mixing all the things that you have depression-wise,
trauma,
on top of all the traumas. Now you're drinking excessively, and you're affecting the main organ that's going to tell you that everything's okay.
And again, guilty of everything else. When I was drinking at my heaviest, when I had my last episode back on July 4th, well, technically it was July 5th because it was the next day, and I felt completely like shit. I felt horrible mentally. I felt the worst I had ever felt since my first suicide attempt back in 2018. I basically drove myself over to St. Catherine's because of how unsafe I felt, because of how unhealthy I felt. So having to take my boy there, I had a lot of also memories of like, as soon as I walked in, I'm like, okay, yeah, shit, I know exactly where you're at, dude, because I now you're in a safe place here. When he got out, he immediately just gave me the biggest hug and started to cry on my shoulders, basically saying thank you because no one else answered. And that's where it becomes like, if someone's calling you 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe it's not just a fuck. Maybe it's somebody that's telling you that they need help or they're going through something that only they trust you with. And that's a very heavy burden. It's a very heavy burden for you to have. But that's something that you really shouldn't even take for granted either, because you have somebody that now really looks at you as like, I can trust this person with everything and with my life. And it's exactly what you're supposed to be in the freaking military. You need to be able to trust your person, your buddy to the left, your buddy to the right, the buddy in front of you, to the right of you, diagonal. You need to be able to trust your people that are in the same exact uniform and boots as you. You need to be able to have that feeling of like, okay, yeah, this is the buddy system, and I can really trust my buddy. There's a lot of fucking people who want to fuck themselves, that they want to fuck other people over with simple shit while they're in the military as well, because they think they're going to get a higher up on somebody. And that doesn't go in for the military. That just goes in real life in general in itself. But the biggest thing is that a lot of these men and women in boots, they really feel that they know where to run because they've been so trained to basically, turn off their certain emotions, or to also drink them away, or to, to fuck them away, or to smoke them away. They weren't trained to actually deal with it and feel to heal and actually focus on things in a way that you're going to be able to improve your brain, not only just for yourself, but again, for your family, because the amount of broken households that also come from the military, the amount of divorces that happen within the first couple of years, the amount of, broken children that also become out of that come from those broken households too as well. And then the alcohol just enhances everything else as well. It's heartbreaking when these are the people that we also, that are serving our country, that at the end of the day would have to sacrifice everything to just go anywhere where it's needed, or defend our country if God forbid we to become attacked. These are the things that it's very, very real right now, because even once the veteran, once they leave the military, they then have a feeling of like, oh well, and now I have no idea what to do, and I'm stuck, I am out, I don't know how to actually be a civilian. A good friend of mine who recently got out, yeah, and then one of my good friends who became an ultra marathon runner. Not Cameron Haynes, but
damn. Oh,
yeah, unfortunately not. But he's
great for me.
He's someone who also does emulate, Cameron Haynes' lifestyle, because this man, I'll shout him out. Chris Romana, Photos by Healing is his Instagram as well. He's someone that basically also gave me a good a hindsight of when he was deployed 3 different times, 2 times to Afghanistan, and he got basically attached to some really shitty units that used and abused him for his time, which he would be up again at 4 a.m. But then his day was supposed to be done at 1800, which is 6 o'clock. But then it would go all the way until 20, 21, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. And then he has to be up again for PT and everything else in the morning the following day as well. So he found his purpose after he got out with running and fitness in general. And what I do like to do with people who just get out of the military is I try to transform their brain a little bit when it comes down to developing better coping mechanisms when you are going through your depression episodes, where you're going through your PTSD episodes, where you're going through all these other things that you literally have physical no control over right now, because you have no idea what you're feeling. You have no idea what you're trying to even how to even, especially with the panic attacks coming from it all. It's a little physical shock and the heart rate races. They think they're having a heart attack, but at the end of the day, it's just something that's stuck up here that they can't fully process and heal from. So giving them the ability to unload everything, because what they say to me won't be used against them. Just being, again, coming back to the listening with the intent of understanding. Listening with the intent of actually trying to help and heal, not just listening to say, oh, it's going to be okay. That happened for this reason. Everything happens for a reason. Don't tell somebody everything happens for a reason when they're in the middle of that kind of an episode. That's the last thing they want to hear with that. They already know that, but they don't want to have to hear that out loud, because they don't want to feel like they're not being heard. Communication is key, yes, but comprehension is the biggest key to not only just being able to unlock certain things with people when it comes down to a relationship and when it comes down to being there for somebody, but it's also really big when it comes down to fully understanding someone's perspective. So this way, I'm hoping you get understood as well in the future as well, because everybody wants to be understood. Everybody just doesn't want to talk to the open air, and then everyone says, like, at the end of the day, they think, oh, well, I just wasted all my time. I wasted my breath, all that talking, because it comes back again to lack of, hating having time wasted, because if you're wasting all your time talking to somebody who's not really fully understanding, it makes you feel like even more shit. Yep. So just practicing that art of listening and comprehending what they're saying, no matter how much I don't understand. I have another good friend of mine that was he's a couple years older than me. He was a Ranger and had his leg blown off. And not blown off completely. He had to get it amputated, basically. But he then became something afterwards as well. Very successful welder now. Very successful at what he does for cars as well. A mechanic, and somebody that is doing very good for himself.
How do you climb that mountain right when it happens? It's hard.
Yeah,
it's fucking hard.
That's why you need a team. That's why you need a reliable source of people around you. You can't just rely on this person and that person. You need to have a team of people that you can trust and rely on when it comes down to, if you're not feeling too good, if this person's not answering, give a call to this person, give a call to that person. I don't like to keep my phone next to me when I sleep, but that's one of the reasons why I have to.
It's tough, man. Yeah, as you're saying this, I'm thinking about. I'm like, fuck, man. My phone's always on do not disturb, but it is always. I mean, it's on Wi-Fi, so if I really need to, there's a FaceTime call or video that I can receive. If they have Android, it's not going through. So it becomes tough, man. It becomes tough because you want to be accessible to people that need it. But you also need to be able to. You don't
want to be overly accessible.
Not only overly accessible. You don't want to be overly accessible, but you also want to have boundaries as well, because you have to respect your own time, because you can't be. There's a fine line between helping a lot of people out and then being the unloaded wishing well that everyone just constantly unloads on, and then that affects you. So you have to. There's a balance of it.
Can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah, at some point you have to say, yo, you got to go to therapy. You got to do this. This is the advice that I have to give to you to better yourself, so this way we're not continually in this cyclone of emotions, because we all get there. We all have panic attacks. We all have issues and this and that. Is it dietary? Is it because of the traumas that you've experienced? Is it a lack of purpose? Finding the root cause can be a lifelong thing sometimes, but it's important, like you're saying, to take baby steps and really understand where am I feeling these things? How can I best these things? How can I get out of the hole and then start to build back in a more productive way for my whole body, not just my muscles, not just my brain, not just my health, everything, spirituality, just everything as a whole. Because once you start getting everything aligned, it sounds corny, but like in it, like a very Zen flow, everything's just kind of going. And you're operating at optimal levels. You just feel good.
Yeah.
And it takes people a long time sometimes to get to that level. So you do need those good, positive reinforcement people around you. I cut friends out. I cut friends out all the time.
Same.
It's not because I can't. It's not because I don't fucking love them. So it's not because I don't miss talking to them and hanging out with them. It's because I can't continually do the same vicious cycle of anger, of shit that's wrong, of fuck my girlfriend, I can't stand her. Then fucking leave, bro. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Then leave. I'm tired of hearing about it.
Yep.
At some point, I've given you all the advice I can possibly give you, and there's nothing else to give. So
Nope.
So you have to now take that step. There's only so much that, as an external source, I can do. I can't live your life for you. I can't make these decisions for you. I can give you some of the answers. Whether those answers are correct or not, that's on you to decide. Does it make sense for your life? I don't know. This is what I would do in your situation. And if you want to take that advice, take it. If you don't. But if you're going to continually be in that same repetitive behavior, that same cycle of the same shit over and over again, then obviously you didn't take my advice, or you're going to continue doing what you were doing, and that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't till I'm blue in the face. What do they say? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's I 1000% am with you. There is a fine line, though, between that point, that crossover point of like, I'm not your therapist. I can't continue.
Can't solve every single issue.
I can help you with XYZ when you need me.
Yeah.
And you're down bad.
Mm-hmm.
I got you. But if that down bad is
every
once
single
a week,
day.
Yeah, once a week, twice a week, 3 times, and we start building, we got to do something, dude.
Yeah,
we got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes sometimes that outside voice helps people. Sometimes that external
Has
opinion.
plenty of times, just be honest.
Yeah, sometimes that external opinion helps people. A lot of times it doesn't, because people need to actually learn the lesson themselves. You have to actually be able to take the information that you're seeing, that you're being given, and actually use it and utilize it and change. Or people just keep having to make the same mistake over and over again. It's like the not so much military and not so much veterans that have gone through traumas, but it's different type of trauma. It's like the girl and the guy, or the guy that keep going back to the same ex. Like her ex beats her, but she keeps going back for some reason.
Because she's so comfortable she's so comfortable in the toxic ways.
Yeah, the rapport is already there.
Mm-hmm.
You already know what your evening's going to be. You already know what he likes in bed and what you like in bed, and he knows that. He already knows that you like your rigatoni al dente. It's like whatever it might be. But the second that the cork hits the floor, he starts swinging on you. Oh, but for some reason, I can't leave. Yo, you're gonna keep getting in these situations with the same person unless you wake the fuck up.
And there's a lot of people who will sleep past those issues, and they refuse to wake up just because of the level of comfort that they feel within the toxicity, that they don't know what it is to have a healthy relationship.
There are people that I know that are married that fucking can't stand each other. They can't stand each other.
Yeah, I know that too. I know quite a few people like that.
We stay together because of the kids. What does that mean? What does that mean? So
they could see a toxic household be developed, and then they could see what not to be also.
Even if it's not toxic, let's just say it's like pretend.
Why are you pretending your life away?
Fake. You're fake. Y'all don't want to be together. Don't be together. Pretty simple.
Stay separate.
Okay, what? You're worried about alimony, or you're worried about all this other extra shit, child support, stuff like that? Okay, well, guess what? Do you want to continue living in the home with somebody that you can't stand, or that you just don't click with anymore? Doesn't have to be animosity of not being able to stand somebody. Do you want to continue living in a home and pretending that everything's all good, or do you want to just move on with your life and get to the next chapter? Because by the time you're 70, 80 years old, you're going to be sitting there going, I should have just fucking dipped. But instead, I stuck it out. I was miserable. And look where we're at. I wasted my time.
Yep, and we go right back to
what do we not like, Tim?
We hate our time being wasted.
I fucking hate my time being wasted. Don't waste my goddamn time. Don't do it.
Exactly.
Don't do it. Don't waste my time. I don't want to fucking have it wasted. I'll waste it myself on video games. I don't need you wasting it on me. It's tough, man. So on veterans though, I have a big sore spot for veterans. I have family that served in the Korean War, that served in Vietnam. I've family, dude, crazy shit, man. Yeah. Tough. I have friends that have served in Iraq. Mm-hmm. You know, you're one of my friends that I know has served as well, just in general.
I didn't deploy.
Still just served in general. And as I grow with the podcast, with finances, the business life, veterans giving back is huge for me. Mm-hmm. And if there's something that I can spread more and more awareness on, it's that. And it's the fact that, especially with right now, because it's a current topic, the illegal immigration and the open borders and all of this shit, whether people want to hear it or not, that's a fucking problem. Yeah,
there should be no homeless beds at this point.
It's a big problem for a number of reasons. Mainly, though, my biggest issue with all of it is, why are these people that are here illegally getting golden treatment from our government when we have veterans that have limbs blown off, that are mentally not okay, that are sick, that are go to the VA. The VA sucks from what I hear from all my veteran friends. The VA
ain't the greatest.
Sucks. So you're gonna give everybody else top tier. Once again, putting other people before America first. I am all for people coming to this country. Let me just make that very clear, because people will take that you don't like people coming to this country? I wouldn't be here if my family didn't come from Italy. I'm third generation Italian. I love immigrants. What I don't like are people that are coming here illegally and cutting the process, when there are people that are waiting for their visas, that are doing the process the correct way, that still don't have their green cards. That I have a problem with. And then, the other problem is obviously the mixture of actual criminals that people are unloading their jails in other countries and then allowing them to come through our border. So I wonder what kind of problems that could cause. I don't know. Shaggy and Scooby, what do you think? Can we figure this mystery out of what's going to happen? Oh, do you think they're just going to be law-abiding citizens when they get here? Okay. Yeah. Let's just use our fucking brains. Yeah, okay. Once again, stop drinking. You're shrinking your brain. You're not able to actually critically think. So veteran care and afterthought by our government is disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting how they fucking basically put a boot in your back after you're done serving, and they go, hey, best of luck. Go do your thing. And if you need anything, hit the VA up.
Mm-hmm. And wait in line.
Yeah. Was this Canada? Oh, we have free healthcare up here. Oh, yeah, but just to get my liver checked, I got to wait a fucking year, and I'm probably just going to die while I wait. Like, what do you mean wait in line? One of my neighbors right over here, he's a veteran. Fucking love him. Shouts to Jeff. Jeff's the homie. He was having problems with his shoulder. Bro, it was like 2 months, and he still wasn't able to get an MRI. Waiting for what? Get the guy in. Get him a fucking MRI. We're supposed to be the best country in the world, right? Right? Supposed to be the best country in the world. We can't get our veteran who's having shoulder problems We can't get him an MRI quick. Okay. Yeah. Keep lying to the people. There are a lot of people that will believe that. I will not. So once again, if we're quiet about these things, nothing changes. When we're louder about these things and we have more eyes on them, they can't ignore it. And if they do, then we have another issue on hand that we have to take care of.
Yep, and it comes to a point where I just genuinely hope that it happens sooner than later, because I know plenty of friends who are right now still struggling with their health, in general, not only just physically but mentally as well, who have served this country, who have done their time, and they are still struggling harder than ever.
Yeah.
And they do not deserve that treatment at all whatsoever. Like I did my time, I did the basic stuff, yeah, but then I know people who really went overseas and struggled, and it came back even more messed up. So those are the people that really do need the treatment more than anything else. And I pray, again, that they get something a lot sooner than later, because a lot of them are just waiting around, and waiting around is the reason why that number 21 and 22 was floating around for so long. The amount of suicides.
I had a buddy of mine. I have my buddy Matt, who's a veteran as well. He said that number was debunked as not being real, because I put it in my bio, in my post that one day. 22 a day is too much or something like that. I was like, all right, whatever. Even if it's one a day, that's still too many. I don't care how many fucking it.
It doesn't matter how many it is.
If it's more than 0, it's too many.
Yeah, then no one should be in that state where they need to take their own life.
Oh, you mean this individual who went overseas or signed up to potentially go overseas and potentially take a bullet for our bullshit politicians' wars and all of their
that they're not even physically fighting?
Of course not. I'm telling you, man, we need to go to like a fight ring type scenario where all the leaders just fight each other. I mean, we're losing right out the gate. Let's just be fucking very clear.
Especially in state right now.
Oh my God, we are losing right out the. If Putin's got to fight people, it's over for us.
Hey.
That motherfucker, he will rip skulls off and just be sitting there just eating borscht and whatever other heavy Russian soups they have over there. Yeah, well, he's still vodka.
Great.
Yeah, whatever he's got over there. Just, I don't know if there's a message.
Was a literal spy.
Bro, that dude's a KGB. He was ready to kill motherfuckers, and I'm sure he's killed a lot of people. A lot of people.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that there needs to be change. That should be the fucking episode title. There needs to be change. There needs to be a lot of things that are addressed in the next couple of years.
Oh, you would say just throughout this year? Like we have an election coming up.
This year. No. This year, I made a podcast about this. I made a short podcast about this. This year is shot. It's going to be a very bad year. Not bad for business for people and stuff like that, even though it's already very challenging for people right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, every time you go to the grocery store, it's $80 to $100. And for one bag of groceries.
Minimum.
It's ridiculous, dude.
Minimum.
It's ridiculous how much I'm paying for groceries. It's absolutely absurd. I actually say I do very well, and I'm very thankful of that. I really do. I don't know how people do it with families right now. I don't know how people do it with kids.
I don't. I genuinely don't know. And
I just look at that. I look at these costs of everything, and I just go,
how do you survive?
I would be able to survive, but I'm like, would I want to put myself through that?
And also eat just basic, like, canned sausages and then tuna and, toast. And that's how you want to survive. Like, that's not the experience that we should be experiencing in this one life.
It's going to be a very difficult year because we're going to see a lot of bombshell shots from both sides. And it's not going to really affect them. It's going to affect the people of this country. And the division and all this stuff, we have to end it. This is like the final notes, really, honestly. This is like, we have to end the division.
Yeah.
We have to stop looking at everybody and allowing these news outlets to race bait us and all of this stuff. It's
go watch something like Breaking Points. Breaking Points on YouTube is a non-biased. They have one person that's a Republican, one person that's a Democrat. They both debate, but they both have the same common word, which is basically unifying this country back.
That's what we need to do. And if we don't do it, we are fucked on a grand scale of things. All these countries are joining BRICS. If you're not aware of that, that's basically them phasing the dollar out and saying, "Fuck the U.S. dollar. We don't need it to be back. We don't need it to be a standard for the world anymore." There's a lot of moving parts going on right now. And not that you need to be anxious, not that you need to be upset about these things, but you need to be aware. You have to be aware of everything.
Absolutely.
Politically, world, everything. You just have to understand what's going on. And then you can make your own, thought processes based on the information that's given to you. But it's important that you actually at least have some of the information and get it, like you're saying, from a wide range of people, not just one person who believes in one thing. If you're constantly watching the same news site because they constantly reaffirm your thought about, I believe in this and that's what I believe in, and they're like, hey, you're right. And you're just like, I know I'm right. Oh, great. And it's just like a big circle jerk. That's all it is. Just you sitting there playing with yourself. Don't do that. You have to understand everything that's going on.
Open your mind.
Yeah, exactly. Open your mind. And don't get irritated. Somebody doesn't believe in what you think of, they're not idiots. No. I mean, maybe some of the stuff, if it's like really fucking bad, like pedophilia, they're idiots. And they need to go on a fucking island. Not Epstein Island, an actual island. Just go over there and die slowly. But
yeah. Very.
Not the fun island. Not your idea of a fun island. We want you on one that you're gonna rot on. But anyway, you have to understand these things. You have to be able to be well versed in everything. And that's where I'm leaving that off. I did want to say one thing though.
Yeah,
I did write it down. It's funny that you said grip strength. Go right back to that. That's fucking hysterical. You said grip strength with the maces and everything like that.
Yeah.
There was a study with the NIH, and it basically summed up that, where's the abstract? Introduction. The study basically says that grip strength is an indispensable biomarker for older adults, and that your longevity and health is equated to your grip strength.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot to go over. I wish I had like a summary. I don't think I have a summary on this. I'm going all the way down. Future outcomes. Grip strength is a predictor of numerous future outcomes. Mortality is probably the most widely studied outcome, with studies published as far back as the 1980s and at least 3 meta-analyses supporting the association of weak grip strength with all-cause mortality in the general population. In one of these meta-analyses, Rijek et al. Summarized, I guess that's maybe the person who brought this study forward, 22 articles addressing the mortality rate. Their pooled hazard ratio for mortality for categorical variables was 1.79 to the 73rd power. Going to be completely honest with you guys, I may sound fucking super smart. I don't understand what the fuck they're talking about there. But
I can't say that I understand.
I don't understand
the most either.
But the next thing says grip strength is also supported as a predictor of disease and disease-specific mortality, with much of the literature focused on cardiovascular disease and cancer. So grip strength as a whole is associated with better health in the longevity and especially older age. So get your kettlebells up, get your maces up, hit my man Tim up. Come on, bro. What are we doing out here?
Especially if you really want to test yourself, go out to the Strength Factory out in Baldwin. See my man Tom DiGioli over there giving you the best workout you'll ever feel.
Giving you the fucking work.
Giving you the full work, the real work. And if you really can't make it out to the Strength Factory, come out to Unique Fitness in Holbrook or come out to Apex Fitness in Farmingville and come find me. I am not that hard to find. I am a very tall motherfucker that you will see in this gym.
You know what? He is very tall, and when I do the podcast, I've said this before, my mom stole this chair from her office. Shouts to mom. It's the only way anybody gets a Herman Miller without paying for it. You have to like steal it from your office. She's like, I've been renting from them for 20 years. I'm just taking this. I'm like, all right, cool. But it's broken, so it doesn't stop. It won't lock.
Oh, so I thought you were just
but I also
like at one point.
No, but I also it also like doesn't hold staying up high. So I always feel like a little person when I'm like, oh, I keep going like this. Oh, stop it. So you're not only are you tall, but I'm also trying to like stay level headed with you on the podcast table.
I'm trying to also keep myself a little shorter and closer to the microphone.
I appreciate that
as well.
Very responsible of you. I appreciate that. We've been going for almost 2 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah. Can you do me a favor? We're going to have you back. You're going to come back on. We're going to talk about more stuff.
I'd absolutely love to be back on.
Can you tell people how they can get in contact with you, and then I'm also going to put your information in the show notes.
Absolutely. So first off, you guys can either find me on Instagram. Well, actually, yeah, only on Instagram. I don't have TikTok. I don't have any of that as well, unfortunately. But you can find me on Instagram, Welshcare, WELSHCARE _Tales, TALEZ. It's like tall tales is what I used to tell. But so the whole Instagram that you'll see on there is just a bunch of my workouts and my stories. You're going to see me work with my clients. I actually have a couple of highlights in there. I've seen the kind of clientele that I work with, and you can also see a bunch of highlights with the mace, with the clubs and everything else. go to my tag section. You're going to see a bunch of video demonstrations that I've done recently with Unique Fitness in regards to kettlebell work, how to properly swing a kettlebell, how to properly do a two-handed clean, all that other stuff too as well. Feel free to look over there. If you're looking to schedule a session with me at any point, you can either schedule me over at Unique Fitness in Holbrook, or you can come out to Apex Fitness in Farmingville, and we'll be able to get you some work regarding of whatever your goals are, fat loss, weight gain, mobility, whatever it is. I'm the trainer for you when it comes down to whatever goal you need, because I have a wide variety of expertise when it comes down to this field. And I've been in this game for about 7 years, and I'm very thankful to be where I'm at. If you want to check out the YouTube channel, it's Welsh Care. That's all it is. It's WELSHCARE. Yeah, and that's where they can find out the podcast.
Shoot me the links of everything, and I'll just bam, paste it right in the show notes.
Awesome.
My man, good. Tim, I appreciate you coming, hanging out, episode 83, chopping it up with me, you the homie.
83, wow, impressive.
83.
That's awesome. That's closing on 100, dude.
Closing on 100. You know, it's crazy because I had my third podcast. So I had 2 before, and I was like 70-something with my boy John, and then Tyler and I were 11. So altogether, I've done over 100, well over. But now it's like, this is
official.
Yeah. So now there's like, this would be the official marker for it. But
truly do appreciate you, brother, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Dude, just good people chopping it up, hanging out, learning, talking, swapping ideas. That's all. That's really what this is meant for. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate everybody else for listening in on us. And if you have any comments, you have any concerns, anything that I said that you believe differently in, please comment below. I'm open to talking and dialogue and everything. So
absolutely.
Episode 83. Like, share, subscribe, all the bells and whistles down below. Yeah, don't forget, man, because that's how I can continue to keep doing this, growing this thing, and hopefully impacting people's lives. Somebody commented recently saying that I just want the validation of the internet and all this stuff, and I really don't. What I really want is for people to think outside the box and hear people's stories and hear some of the things that we talk about and learn from it, and maybe share it with other people because it impacted them in a positive way, or maybe it impacted them in a negative way. And they said, look at this. I want to talk about this because this struck me XYZ, whatever it might be. There's conversation to be had and life lessons to be learned from it. So on that note, I appreciate all y'all for fucking with us. Peace.
Later.